Listening to Pointer Faithful, welcome to tonight's WWSP Stevens Point 90 FM's broadcast of tonight's matchup between the UW-Stout Blue Devils and the UW Stevens Point Pointers. We are in Game 2 of the WIAC tournament. Last night was one heck of a game. You know, Pointers barely escaping with a win. Got a goal in the third period. It was a little bit of a deflection goal, but you know what? They'll take it, I'm sure. What do you think that we're going to see from tonight, Ashton?
Well, I was just about to say, I don't think you introduced yourself. You know, he's Liam Setsky. I am Ashton Parker going color on you. We also have Will Haroldson.
Yeah, I'm mic'd up over here on the camera.
He's doing camera for SPTV broadcast as well, so it's going to be a dual broadcast for WWSP and SPTV. But yeah, yesterday's game was definitely very exciting. It was very close up until the end where Point really just broke away. And after they were able to score in that empty net, it just blew away with it. And now I'm expecting to see a bit more comfort because that first game is always the most, I feel like, defining game of the series because it really just lets people know how the game is going to go, how the teams are going to interact with one another. And game 2 is how do they respond. And I think Point is going to respond very positively, especially after that win and the confidence they gained with that. What about you, Will?
No, I think you're absolutely right. I think doing starting lineups, interestingly enough, the players weren't coming out, but not much you can see here on camera, so I'll just kind of leave it here at center ice. But yeah, yesterday, a really emotional game. You and I had that call, Liam, and definitely, I think you're absolutely on the money there, Ashton. Stevens Point really pulled away late because it was a close game all the way through.
Even after that third goal, I mean, really until the empty netter to make it 4-2, it was still really close.
Absolutely, and Masternad, to his credit, played a really, really good game yesterday. There was just empty net and one that kind of flew over his shoulder in the back of the net, which really he couldn't do. I think you're absolutely right. So he really played an even game against Ryan Wagner. Now, the thing is, can he repeat that performance here today when it matters most? Because your season's on the line here. You lose this game, you're out. If you win, again, you force that.
Force that mini game.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You force that mini game.
Which I think it is just a fourth period. The score resets. It's just a fourth period, 20 minutes. Whoever wins that advances to the WIAC tournament. Over in Eau Claire right now, I think also starting in about 5 minutes is going to be the who else is determining, you know, who else is going to go to the WIAC championship between UW Superior and UW Eau Claire. UW Eau Claire won in overtime 5-6 yesterday, so Superior is, you know, they're also on a do or die at this point.
No, absolutely, and they put up one goal in the first period to take a 1-0 lead before Eau Claire responded with 3 consecutive goals unanswered. They would get 2 more in the third period, but Superior, to their credit, they fought back and they forced overtime. They made it 5-5 and they just lost in that one. So it was a really competitive game for the Yellow Jackets, really good game overall. And this is going to be, no matter what the outcome, this is 4 really good hockey teams. And it's going to be a really, really exciting matchup here. We got the national anthem coming up here just a moment, so we're going to pause, let you guys listen in, and be right back after this. Nice rendition always, guys. But, yeah, back to that point. This is going to be as exciting of a finish you're going to see, too, because no matter what, a team is going to advance today. Stout obviously needs to win 2 straight games in order to advance. But looking at this from a standpoint of, for Stevens Point guys, last night, emotional win. Keys early here, I would say they definitely need to come out and set the tone early because they had all the momentum in yesterday, and then Stout just kept having counterpunch after counterpunch, and they were able to pull away late. But yeah, this is going to be a really exciting game, guys.
It's going to be highly contested all the way through. I honestly think it's going to be scoreless throughout this first period. I'd be very surprised if a goal is scored. I mean, each team is going to try their hardest, sure, but it's going to be a very defensive game, I think, to start, as neither team really wants to buckle first, because you don't want to give up. Like last time, Stout let a goal up in the first 5 minutes and then answered right back with their own in the second period with barely a minute in.
Yeah, I agree. I think I actually I shouldn't say that, because I actually think it's going to be a very high-scoring affair, personally. I think that they're going to follow the momentum of the last game, which was relatively high-scoring, 4-2, quite a few scores. And, like you said yesterday, you're saying that point should set the tone early. And that is what they did yesterday, too. They set the tone extremely early, and they were able to try to stay one step ahead. So I'm expecting a pretty similar sort of game for these two.
Your starting lineups tonight from UW-Stout: at left wing, Dylan Rallis; at center, Peyton Hart; at right wing, Kobe Keller. On defense, we have Brendan Boyce and Trenton Hyde; and in net, Tyler Masternock. For the Pointers, at left wing, we have Sean Bunting; at center, we have Connor Witherspoon; at right wing, we have Jordan Fader. Defense, we have Mick Hennigan and Sam Ide; and in net is the veteran, Ryan Wagner. And we are underway here in KB Willett Arena.
Something we talked about yesterday, Ryan Wagner, 6th-year senior. He's experienced everything, came into this program with a championship. No matter what happens this season, this is his last season as a Pointer, so he's going to try to finish this one out on a high note. And
let's hope that he does. Point carries it into the blue line. He's brought down. There will be no call. Pointers wheel it around the net, and they'll start the rush up ice. Long stretch pass all the way over to Anderson, but he's not able to corral it. It'll go into the corner.
Sorry to interrupt you, but yeah, that was something I know you and I were talking about yesterday on the broadcast, Leon. There were a lot of penalties and maybe no calls yesterday that we thought were a little iffy.
Well, I definitely agree with that. I think that might be in part with the fan favorite Schroeder here tonight.
Yeah, fan favorites using that term loosely, but yeah, no, I agree. I wonder if we're going to see very similar reffing. A lot of no calls. So I wonder if we see very similar stuff. I think we are, personally.
And that's really all you can ask for is consistent calls. Now, if you're Stevens Point, you kind of wish that you didn't have as many penalties as you did yesterday, but
you take what you can get.
You'll take what you can get, and consistency is all you can ask for.
Absolutely. Dawson Sherino just took a big, heavy hit behind the boards. He kind of shook that one off, and he's back in it. Now he's got the puck. Backhand shot saved by Masternock right there in front of the net. Good save. Fought off Sherino. Idle collect it behind the net now, and he'll wheel around. Pass it back behind.
Looks like a Pointer. Sherino actually blew a tire on the way over to the bench. He just really fell down on his back.
Well, let's hope that he's not injured. Hyde will re-corral it and try to flip it up the net. The Pointers keep it in. David Hill with a quick shot, fought off by Masternock. Moline with it now in the corner, tries to pass out front. Deflection. This quick shot in front of the net. Masternock keeps the puck, and he makes another spectacular save, as he's super consistent so far for the Blue Devils.
I heard the one hit the crossbar from up here.
That
or a pull, something like that.
That's three prime opportunities that Point had to score a goal really early on, and just a great save from Stout.
I mean, looks like a Stout wanted to go around the net and possibly try to start something. They just couldn't corral it.
All right. Sorry for the SPTV viewers right now. We're just having a couple of technical issues right now. We should be back with the video very soon, but you can hear some audio from us right now, just like the viewers on WWSP.
Hit a man in front, collected by Jake Tice. Well, he's going to take a little bit of a hit and fall down in the corner. The Pointers will try to keep it in the zone. Stout will eventually recollect it and try to go up ice. That'll be Caleb Serra with it. They'll have it poke check up. Masternack out of his net to play that puck. Big hit in the corner by Wilson Northey, but the Stout Blue Devils re-corral it. Stout will just dump that in as they go for fresh legs. Wagner out of the net to corral it. And Point hoping to get something going here, but he'll just hold behind the net. That's Sam Ide with it now. Sorry, Brett Humberstone. He'll pass it up, and they'll try to start a rush up ice. It'll be tapped, and the icing will be waved off. Witherspoon will be the first in there to the corner. He'll pass it to Fader. Fader passes it back, but Witherspoon had been hit, so he could not corral it. Harrison Stewart with it now, pins it along the corner. Passes up to Fader. Fader fighting for it behind the net. Witherspoon passes around, and the puck will clear. Brett Humberstone will grab it in the Pointer zone. Pass it over, and the Pointers will once again start their rush up the ice. Jordan Fader with it now into the zone. Try to have a pass, hit a Stout Blue Devil in front. Not quite an interception, but it did hit a skate, and so the Pointers will have to reset. Evan Junker pins it along the far boards. Tries to get it to Shrino. Shrino out to Pulius. Pass out in front. And a great poke check by Masternak to take away that scoring opportunity for Fletcher Anderson.
He's back to his ways that he was yesterday. Masternak just owned that crease. That was a crucial stop here.
Impressive defense right now from Stout. This is impressive defense.
Ganarski with a shot, fought off by Masternak, and that'll go up and out of play. What thinking by Masternak there? I mean, Pulius had basically a wide open net, but he stuck the stick out and took him off the puck.
That's just good game sense, right? That's just high hockey IQ, and just knowing when you're going to be able to do that, and just sticking out there, stopping point from having another prime opportunity to score. It's just impressive stuff there from Stout.
Masternak once again showing off his skills. Face-off won by the Pointers and collected by David Hill. And he'll pull around to Moline. Moline can't corral it. He will corral it in the far corner. Tries to get it passed out, but has it skip off his stick, and it'll go back behind the net. Beckstad with it now. He'll pass it back. Beckstad still fighting with Hill for it in the far corner, but he'll come away with it. And the Stout Blue Devils will try to start to get on the zone.
A lot like yesterday's first period. Stevens Point had the puck in the offensive zone a lot, but here comes an
Shot
attack
by the Blue Devils. 2 consecutive blocks down there by the defenseman for the Pointers. I think that was Mick Hennigan. Credit to him. Taking away 2 scoring opportunities. Pass over into the slot, but nobody home. And the Blue Devils will start their attack. Beckstad wheels it around. Shot towards the net, saved by Wagner. A little bit of a clean shot, but nothing doing. Hyde with it now. Passes it in the corner, and it'll be collected by Sam Ide. Ide will lose control of it as Hyde recollects it, and he'll dump it back into the net. Peter Vergsten behind the net now, fighting for it, but the Pointers will come away with it. And they'll try to get a rush up ice, but it's intercepted by Bice and kept in. David Hill has it, passes it out, and the Pointers will finally clear the zone, but unfortunately it is going to be icing, so this one's coming all the way back down.
You know, from what it seems like right now, Liam, your prediction is just absolutely spot on. The hard-hitting defense, great saves currently, and no one is moving an inch.
You're absolutely right. Really a defensive game, and that's really what you expect from 2 teams in the WIAC, really a defensive conference. I mean, Stevens Point ranks above in the top of the nation in penalty kills. You're just not going to find much better defense in any league in the country.
I feel like that's point consistency. They're really good at the penalty kill, just consistently.
Well, this conference is just so good with the penalty kill. I mean, you'd be hard-pressed to find a WIAC team that's not absolutely astounding with killing off the penalties, except for Northland, but they are struggling with a little bit more of some other stuff.
They've been getting better, although they gave Superior really all they could handle,
Absolutely.
Especially taking them out in the first game. And
Superior had to force a mini game because Northland won that second game. Here come the Pointers on an attack now. Pass out the front to Northy, but he's quickly taken off the puck. Shot from the point, hit a Blue Devil in front, and they try to do a stretch pass to get Rallis, but intercepted by the Pointers. Pass up to Matthew Falls. He'll touch it, and so there will be no icing. Jake Tyson there try to grab it, but he can't. Passed up to Keller. Keller and the Blue Devils start their rush up ice. Quick shot towards Wagner. He'll just get a toe on that, and it'll go wide.
Keller was the one that scored the first goal yesterday for Stout.
Evan Junker with it now in his defensive zone. He's got good hands. Skating up ice, flips it into the zone. Evan Junker with it now in the far corner. Still fighting for it. He's getting no help from his teammates and tries to pass around the boards. But it'll be grabbed by, and there's an upcoming penalty for boarding. I think Stetchel is hurt.
And they're dragging down. Here we go.
That's going to be a penalty too for a retaliation, but initial penalty on, I think.
Man, that was a vicious hit. I just hope that I don't know if that's Raylis or over in the corner. Just hope he's okay. He's obviously shaken up, and the Stout
trainer out
Stout
there
trainer's gonna we'll get the camera off that. Give him his.
I think
space,
that's going to be Sean Bunting going to the box for potential boarding. That one looked very, very dangerous.
This will be interesting to see if they have a conversation about this, because if it was really a vicious hit to the head,
what do they say they're going to do?
This could be a 5-minute and see you later.
I mean, boarding is probably the most. It is the most common 5-minute major call. In most cases, especially in hockey, boarding is the one that usually gets called the most
Yep.
for a 5-minute
You're
major.
absolutely right, yeah.
I mean, in my opinion, it's a good call. I don't know if it'll be a 5-minute major, but it's going to be something because I mean, it was boarding. You know, we saw the numbers. He definitely hit him in there. I want to see if Stout is going to get a retaliation penalty because one of the Blue Devils came over and absolutely destroyed Bunting after that initial hit.
Yeah, good to see the player off his feet. And
That is Max Tetchel. Good to see him up and skating under his own weight.
yeah, that was a vicious, and it'll be interesting to see what the line judge official Martin and Schrader are having to talk about it. I would not be shocked if this is a 5-minute major, and it is.
It's
double 5-minute major.
It's going to be double 5-minute majors, I think, for the retaliation.
And it's one of those things where if you're Stout, obviously you want to keep the cooler heads, but also you just see your guy take an absolute cheap shot in the corner, and you want to stand up for your guy. It's like an offensive lineman standing up for your quarterback kind of situation.
They're going to get Sean Bunting and no Perez from
Actually,
Stout.
we're still waiting on the official call from the scoreboard right now, so we're not entirely sure. The initial flash was double major, one on each side.
They're
and that's,
still
and that's
discussing it, I think.
Yeah, they're still discussing it, it looks like.
Well,
And I wouldn't be surprised if that's the final call because, you know, that first hit was really big.
It's going to be 5-on-5, I think, still.
Yep. So I think it was.
Yep. Stout faithful voicing their displeasure. They're obviously right next to us up here in the booth. I'm sorry if any of that came over the radio, but you know they're voicing their displeasure because in their minds, you know, one of their guys just took a really, really dirty hit, and their guy was just sticking out for him.
And then you can say, yeah, you can say at the if you're obviously a point fan, you can say that maybe the retaliations were too much.
Absolutely, and that's obviously in agreement with the officials as they've decided that it's going to be dual 5 minutes, and we're going to get 5-on-5 still. So in the end, nothing really changes. But
no, because it's 5-on-5. I mean, the penalty's not even on the scoreboard.
There's no even penalties, I think.
Well,
that's
the Pointers will lose. However, their first line left wing Sean Bunting for 5 minutes. I wonder if that's going to come and affect them at any point. As this face-off won by Point, as a quick shot from the angle, tried to bank it in behind him from behind the net, could not get the angle though, as it's passed out to the point and collected by Keller. Keller with a quick draw up the ice, but he's taken off the puck by Sam Ide. Ryan Wagner way out of his net to play that one, and he can't clear the zone. My goodness.
That's
very dangerous. We saw that earlier in the year against River Falls. Came out of the net to play that pretty lazily, and River Falls.
Torino, oh my God, he miffed on the pass, and it rolled really, really dangerously in front of Ryan Wagner. Oh my goodness. Nick Hennigan with it now. He'll just toss it in. Saved by Masternak. Stout will collect it behind their net. And they try to go up ice. They'll roof it though, and that'll hit the top of the roof and come back out to neutral ice. I think they were just trying to get a change, you know, dumping in the change, but he got too much underneath that one.
Just kind of pulled out the little sand wedge, tried to get out of the bunker, and just put a little too much on it.
I feel that. If it happened to be too much on the course, but yeah.
That's not what happens to me. Mine usually goes about 5 feet straight to the right.
But yeah, no, I think it's interesting, you know, what the. Oh man, I guess I'm having a hard time because it's very scrappy defense right now. I feel like being played from Point. A lot of, like you said, Wagner got way out of his net there. Super dangerous play, but eventually it worked out.
Shot by Stout
save.
and saved by Wagner. That shot was by Matt Dalside. He had a great look there. Wonderful save by Ryan Wagner, showing some of that veteran skill set.
And that's the key. And obviously, you have two really, really good-looking freshman prospects at goal in Alex Proctor and Matthias Smith. And having that senior leadership, having that guy to really influence you is huge for them.
Absolutely. That's something I said kind of on one of the earlier sports beats this year, is that, you know, I think it was going to be good for them to kind of get that mentorship from somebody who's been in for as long as Ryan Wagner has. David Hill with it now. He'll toss it towards the net. Just deflected out of play by Masternak, and we'll get a stoppage.
He just uses that stick so well. I mean, we saw yesterday in that absurd save that he had where he dove just kind of like a prayer kind of thing.
Desperation across
and
the
he
net.
just gets he uses that stick so well.
Absolutely, I couldn't say it better myself.
Face-off, I think, is officially going to go to Stout. Still battle for it along the far boards. They'll come out and be collected by Gunrowski in center ice. He'll dump it all the way back in. Masternak out of his net to play it. He'll pass it to Dayakawa. Dayakawa will pass it up, but it'll be collected again by Gunrowski, and he'll wheel around the net. Passes up to Falls, intercepted almost by Stout, but they'll keep it in.
Ooh.
One of the pointers gets taken down there. There'll be no call. Oh, I'm sorry, there will be a call.
I was going to say,
for interference.
Get an awkward fall kind of like that. It's bound to be called that time.
That's going to be 2 minutes for interference, I'm sure. Who's going to the box? That's going to be Maxis Bermanis. 2 minutes for interference. And so the Pointers will go on the power play. Struggled all throughout the regular season. I don't think we've seen them yet. Have we seen them yet in the tournament?
Not in the first game from yesterday score a power play goal, but this is a team that you're absolutely right. They started off the year very, very poor at it, and they have progressively gotten better and better at it. So it'll be interesting to see how they attack this this power play early. Ooh, they're nice clear there by Stout.
Yeah, it was great. I would say, as you said, Point has just really struggled with the power play throughout this entire season, and it still is a little frustrating to see. A team with this much talent still. I don't know what the average is for power play, so I don't know where Point really ranks among the average.
I think we've converted maybe 7 so far.
Yeah,
this year.
so it's a little frustrating, but maybe it's the playoffs. It's a fresh start. Maybe this is a chance where we can see Point really start to shine.
And these are areas where if you're going to be a national championship team, you've got to convert.
Absolutely.
When you have a man advantage, there's no excuses for not being able to convert or have a little bit of offensive attack in this one. And they've had absolutely nothing so far in the first
stretch pass, not able to be corralled. He would have had a breakaway. Andrew Poulias just could not corral that one, but it's going to be kept in by the Pointers. Pass along the slot. Intercepted by Hart, but he's taken quickly off the puck by Fader. It'll come back out to Keller, and now Keller is going to try to take it up the ice.
What an aggressive penalty kill here so far by Stout. Really impressive work so far.
The Pointers try to get their attack again. They'll come in over the blue line. That's Witherspoon with it. He loses it, and it'll be flipped out of the zone. It's been more of the same here for this Pointers power play.
Yeah, like I said, it's just kind of frustrating to see you have that man advantage at 5v4, and the fact that you're not able to at least try and get something, because it doesn't really seem like Point's been able to get a shot off. It's kind of frustrating to see that, and I'm just obviously we hope to see him see better, but we'll have to try and go through this one now.
Kind of frustrated, I'd say. It's pretty frustrating from that standpoint, especially for Coach Krieger. These are areas that you need to execute, and we all think that this is an NCAA tournament team. And if you're going to make a deep run in the March Madness, you got to be able to convert on those.
That's going to do it for the power play. So Pointers once again not able to convert on it, but they do have the puck, and they're going to start off the ice. Pass over to Witherspoon. He'll just dump it in. I'm sorry, not Witherspoon, Humberstone. Took a weird carom off the doors in the corner there, but still collected by Beckstad. Beckstad hit from behind, collected by Jake Tice. Pass into the lane. Northey tried to get a backhand shot, couldn't do it.
Now with just about 8:55 to go here in this opening period, let's see what Stout can do to try to put some
save by
Wagner
Wagner. A little bit of a lazy shot there by Stout, but Wagner making those good saves.
I didn't really have that much velocity towards it, so easy stuff there for Wagner, especially with someone with as much experience as him.
Well, it's going to be immediate timeout here. So, thoughts on what you guys have seen so far?
Like I said earlier, your prediction at the beginning of the game has just been spot on. Currently, just incredibly aggressive, tough defense. It's been just a nonstop back and forth of who's going to break first.
No, you're absolutely right, and emotions have been all over the place here. Obviously, not a very good hit, not a good play by Sean Bunting. Retaliation there. A couple of guys sit in the box. Actually, we don't really know what the. I believe they're still in there.
They're still
It's still in there. So it'll be 5 minutes until the next stoppage of play. The soonest after that penalty is over.
And so emotions have been flaring here, and you got to think it's even going to get even more intense as we get to later stages. Let's say Point gets the lead here, and Stout starting to fight for their season. Things are going to get even more emotional. But if you're Stout, you kind of are kicking yourself here a little bit, because Masternet is playing another really good start to a game here. And you've had opportunities up here, and you couldn't convert on them. And you could say the same thing for Stevens Point. They've had opportunities, they just haven't scored here. Be interesting to see what they do in this final 8 minutes and 47 seconds of this first period.
Face-off won by the Pointers. They'll start off the ice. Taken over the line by Sherino. Sherino dump it behind for Anderson. Anderson able to corral that. Still behind the net. Sherino will just pass it out to the point to Mick Hennigan. Mick Hennigan will pass it across. Pass in the slot to Pulias. Pulias will dump it in the corner as he had nobody to pass it to. Fletcher Anderson with it still. Passes it in the slot, nobody home.
Fletcher Anderson with 5 goals in 4 games against Stout. He had 2 last night.
Pinned along the near corner now by Henderson. Still fighting for it. It'll come out to Flowell. Flowell will try to get rid of it, but he can't. Still being fought for now. And then they'll finally squirt free to Scree, but it's kept in by Sam Ide. Sam Ide with a shot towards the point. A little bit of rebound. Sherino tried to, I think that was a pass to himself maybe.
Tried to set up a rebound to himself kind of situation.
Anderson with a big hit in the corner, and that puck will finally come out of the zone on the stick of the Blue Devils. They'll pass it in and get a change of play. A little bit of a score update here from Eau Claire. As of about 11 minutes left in the first, is still 0-0.
Yeah, it seems like it's going to be a very similar game over there, too.
Fader with a quick shot. Rebound. Scramble in the net. Where is it? It's not in the net. It comes out to behind.
That was a prime opportunity there, and they just were just a little wide.
Saw situations like that a lot last night. Point had opportunities up front. Looked like there's a broken stick on the ice.
Fader has it. He'll dump it behind the net. Gonrowski's not able to get to it. The Pointers will have to change back to onside.
That's unfortunate. That's really unfortunate.
That's, I think, the best chance they've had this entire first period.
Again.
Pass, try to get out of it. Intercepted by Stout.
Ooh.
Look in front, a pass, I think. Nobody there. Very fortunate for the Pointers. That was a
wide
dangerous.
open net there.
Fader collects it behind the net. He'll pass it to Jake Tice. Jake Tice with a pass to himself.
Boyce tripping on that broken stick there on the ice, and it's an awkward spot there right
pass
in front
out
of
to Hummerstone. Hummerstone with a quick shot towards the net. I think that might have just gone wide, or maybe Master not got a piece of it. Slap shot from the point, gets blocked into traffic. Moline with it now. He keeps it in. Pass to the front of the net. Deflection goal goes wide. Wilson Northey with a great look.
That was a really close tip in there. Just a little, again, it's just a little wide. It's so close.
Pointers really buzzing now. Over to Brett Hummerstone. David Hill with a shot. Goes wide. Over to Stewart. Stewart has it pinned along the far corner. He'll pass it out to Northey. Northey is now pinned along the far corner. Really, really battling for it here.
I mean, both sides, somebody's got
to give.
Yeah, who's going to break?
Somebody's got to set the offensive tone here.
Wheeled all the way around by Harrison Stewart. Harrison Stewart passes to Fletcher Anderson. He'll pass it back to Stewart. Stewart with a pass. Shot saved by Masternak.
Oh, and the puck
was loose. However, the referee lost sight of it, so we will get a stoppage in play. But the Pointers are really buzzing right now.
What a play there by Masternak, though. He is just, this is 2 straight, and I mean, obviously there's still 5:51 to go here in this first period, but he's been played 4 straight solid periods of hockey, and obviously yesterday's loss wasn't on him, and so far today he's been playing as good as he does yesterday, maybe even better.
Face-off won by the Pointers. Collected by Dawson Sherino. He'll wheel around and just try to dump it in to get something going. Ender Pulias tries to corral it, and he can't. Collected by Sam Ide. A pass over to Mick Hennigan that goes wide. And Bramanis will try to get it out, and it flips over the bench into the Stout bench, and we're going to get a stoppage in play.
Yeah, somebody's got to get an offensive threat here. Neither side has been able to convert, and nobody's really had their offense set up. It's really kind of been scrambling possessions. So I want to see one of these sides really get a threat here, because neither side has really had a good offensive set.
Romanis will dump that in and try to go for a gain. So it'll be passed around behind the net to Sherino. Sherino with it now. Still has it. Big stretch pass to Pulias. He'll dump it in, go behind the net and recollects it. I think that was an attempted pass, but a whiff on it. So Stout tries to clear the zone. They do, but only because it trickles out. Point really trying to set their offense, but they'll have to go for a change. And so Stout will start their rush up the ice. In over the blue line. Still has it, wheels behind, eventually pinned along the far corner, and it'll go out of the zone. Stout not able to get their offense really set either.
And obviously credit to that Stevens Point defense. I mean, both sides, very much a defensive game here.
Absolutely. Connor Witherspoon has it in the far corner, narrowly escapes a hit, tries to pass behind him, but it'll get intercepted by the Blue Devils. They'll try to get it out of the zone, but Fader gets in the way of that one and intercepts it. He'll pass it to Witherspoon. Fader with it now behind the net, loses it on his stick, tried to get a wraparound in, but he just came off his stick. Blocked pass by Witherspoon, so Stout will just try to dump it in, but it's again intercepted. Pass up to Moline that is also again intercepted by Stout, and it'll be dumped all the way into the pointer zone. No icing.
Icing laid down.
Oh,
big hit in the corner. That's a good
early.
hit there. Stout showing their physicalness now. A little bit of a deflection pass almost in front of the net. Oh, the man scrambled. Ryan Wagner's out of position. Oh my goodness, he was all the way out of position as he slid across and tried to make the save. Stout had a wide open net and could not convert on that.
Again, it's those opportunities. It seems like it's both sides are now trying to squander them. And it's in the later game you'll see, oh, what if we
Stout's got a breakaway now. Shot saved by Wagner. Follow-up shot again saved by Wagner. Pass to the front of the net. Nothing going. Another shot by Stout goes high. And it's finally going to be covered up by Ryan Wagner. What an effort by him in those couple of seconds.
I mean, what a sequence. Like, what a sequence of just absolute heroic event, heroic effort there. Yeah, exactly.
Wonderful athleticism.
I want to go back a little bit. I think you made a new word, physicalness.
Is it not physicalness?
It's physicality.
Oh, okay, physicalness is what I'm going to go with from this point on, just because you mentioned it.
Okay, sure, fair enough. But you're absolutely right. What a sequence there for Ryan Wagner. And there's that experience in right there that maybe wouldn't see one of the freshmen. Not going to panic in a situation where you've got a lot of traffic and you're out of position there. But Ryan
relying
Wagner
on your defense.
Does what he does best and comes clutch when we need him.
Dumped into the zone by Stout. Collected behind the net by the Pointers. They'll try to clear it. Pinned along the far board, kept in by Moore. He'll pass it to the slot. Cannot corral that one, but he'll get a shot. Saved by Wagner, again out of the net. There will be a penalty coming for goaltender interference, however, as he just falls on top of Wagner and pushes the net out of place.
Yep, that'll do it. You call that every time right there.
Wagner having words with, I think that's, again, Maxis Brahmanis, who's going to go back to the box.
And it looks like the net came off its bearings here. But
it came off its bearings, but
Ryan Wagner pulling his best Masternad impression and coming up with
Brahmanis, his second penalty of the first period.
And that's something, obviously we talked about, emotions are flaring, but discipline. That's going to be what both of these head coaches and Coach McDonald and Coach Krieger are going to be talking about in this first intermission, because neither side is letting the cooler heads prevail here. Both sides are reacting to each other, and that's not something you want, especially when you're in these crunch time situations. Stevens Point now has their second opportunity on the power play here.
Yeah, sports as much as it's physicality, it is a mental game as well.
No, you're absolutely right.
And it's whoever has the better mental, I feel like, is going to have a much bigger advantage in the end. But yeah, here we go, another power play opportunity for Point. Let's see if they can convert.
Pass across to Poulias. He's not able to get it. Another pass into the lane. Shot blocked by one of the Stout players. I think that's Trenton Hyde. Trenton Hyde got into the lane to block that one. Otherwise, Fader had a wide open net. McKennigan on the point. Pass it to Anderson. Anderson's shot is blocked. It'll come over to the far zone by Toupulias.
Beautiful defense.
And Stout
here by
is able to clear. Keller in a foot race with Anderson now.
Hustling up and down the ice. But this Stout team is something that we talked about yesterday. They are quick.
Oh, nothing
Somebody
there.
was taken down. He's looking back to the referee like, why was that not a penalty? It was a trip, but there will be no call. That was offside, so the Pointers are not able to get in on that attack. So Stout is able to chew up more clock here. About 45 seconds left on the power play, and about 1:35 left in the period.
This hasn't been very good performance so far on the power play by Stevens Point. They have really struggled to even keep the puck in the zone because, one, you got to credit this defensive Stout, but also they're not really taking very good shots either.
Yeah. It'll be offsides by the Pointers. Matthew Falls came in with it. He was looking for something, but unfortunately he's going to come back out to neutral ice.
I don't know if you could hear a Stout bench thought that was offsides. They were right.
They were right.
They
yeah,
were right.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Also, a little bit of a score update from Eau Claire. It is still 0-0, just under 5 minutes left in the first.
As you said, WIAC play just dominated and defined by defense.
Matthew Falls with it, tries to fight for it in the far corner. He's got a big hit and he's injured. He took a big hit in the corner and he's slow to get up. Still fighting for it and along the far boards. Another pointer finally hits the ice. Another one hits the ice in the far corner. Really, really physical now. And there will be a stoppage of play as I think one of the Stout players just laid down on it. So we'll get a stoppage of play for that.
Well, what an aggressive penalty kill. There's still 4 seconds left, but Stout, what a good job. Stevens Point has had there has not been an offensive threat here this entire 2 minutes. And you got to credit that to this
we got a little
defense.
bit of chippiness coming from 18 and 27.
It's like
Matthew Falls and Brendan Boyce voicing their displeasure with each other as they both head back to the bench. There is still 4 seconds left on this power play, just under a minute left in the first. So a really critical face-off here for either team, really.
absolutely. That if you're Stevens Point, you get with the man advantage, you get maybe a face-off win and one quick shot, but no. Stout's going to clear it, and that'll do it.
50 seconds left in the first period. Once again, the Pointers not able to convert on one of their power plays, but they still have the puck, and they'll start their rush up the ice. Stretch pass all the way across, taken off the puck by Beckstad. He'll go into the zone, dumps it in, or it might have been deflected. Fighting for it along the far boards now. Kept in the zone by Stout. Really, really dangerous here for the Pointers. He takes a big hit in the corner, and it's once again kept in. There was a little bit of deflection in front. Ryan Wagner had no idea where that was. Luckily, it went wide. And Point is not able to clear still. Humberstone fans on a pass. Beckstad in the slot. His pass goes wide, but it's still kept in by Stout. 7 seconds left here in the first. Goes to the slot and is cleared by the Pointers, and that is probably going to take us to the end of the first, and it will. What a period of play here for both teams. Both teams getting good chances. Both defenders caught out way out of the net, really trusting their defensemen. I mean, it's been a very defensively oriented period so far.
No, absolutely, and both sides got to take a deep breath in this 15-minute break here because emotions are definitely kind of at that tipping point right now. And I'm going to make a prediction right now. I think the first team to score here in tonight's game, in this afternoon's game, is going to be the winner.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt that.
Just the way that this is, the feel of this. You're absolutely right, Liam, right off the bat. So this is a defensive matchup. This could be a 1-0 game. This very realistically could be a 1-0 game.
Like we were talking about before the game as we were heading over here, is that it might be a very incredibly close game all the way through.
You're absolutely right. No question about that.
We've seen a lot of penalties as well here in the first. I mean, there was 2 5-minute majors to start off our penalty. I honestly think that Sean Bunting considers himself lucky that was not more than just 5 minutes.
He's lucky to still be in the game. I think very much that he's lucky to be. I mean, we were listening to the Wisconsin Badger hockey game, and there were players in that one that got ejected for similar situations. So they're lucky to even have that happen.
Well, that's going to do it for us here in the first. We're going to send it back over to the studio for some more music, and we'll be back right after the break. And a good evening to everybody. Welcome back here to KB Willett Arena. This is WWSP Stevens Point 90 FM's broadcast of tonight's conference matchup in the WIAC tournament. This stream is brought to you by SBTV. Well, fellas, here we are in a scoreless second period. We're just about to start. What a really good first period to watch. Plenty of scoring opportunities, plenty of heroics by both goaltenders.
No, you're absolutely right. It has definitely been a battle of these two goaltenders, and it was really a lot like what it was yesterday, but a little bit more offensive firepower yesterday. But it'll be really interesting, and I made the prediction that I think the first team to score today is going to be the team to win, and that's just based on how this game is trending, and I still think that's going to be the case here after this one. But yeah, looking at this game, shots on goal here, it's almost dead even, 14-13 in favor of Stevens Point. So you couldn't ask for a more balanced opening period. Obviously, if it would have been 14-14, it would be equally balanced, but nonetheless, a really impressive first opening period by both sides here, and it should be a really, really intriguing second one.
Well, something that I've noticed is that, this is probably the first time in a long time that the shots have been kind of even. Normally it's, 23-3 or, something ridiculous like that in the favor of the Pointers. So I think this might be the first time this season here at the KB Willett that we've seen that.
No, you're absolutely right, and this is a team in Stevens Point that typically outshoots the opposing team by 12 shots a game, and they're only out shooting Stout by 1. If that doesn't tell you how good of a defensive performance this has been by Stout, then I don't know what does.
Yeah, okay. You guys are saying everything, absolutely perfectly, I would say, because, as some people might not know, but I haven't really. I started watching hockey mainly this year. I don't really know the full rules, I guess I should say, but just going off of what that is available to the public, the shots on goal, just the absolute heroics that both sides are showing. It's just been incredibly impressive overall, and it's just going to show. Now, you guys are saying that generally in sports, whatever happens in the first period or first half, depending on what the time periods are divided up in, really is going to say the other end of the half. But I think it just in case of just being, different or something, I think it is a very possible chance that we might have just start seeing an offensive onslaught from both sides.
This is going to be an incredibly important period for the Pointers, especially because now especially because now this is the second period, so obviously they changed sides. Masternock, he's down there by the student section. As we've kind of seen throughout this entire year, goalies tend to have a worse second period against this Pointer team, especially in this building.
No, you're absolutely right, especially when you have the dog pound at your back. It's a little hard to keep your focus maybe sometime here, but Stout, so far they got the possession of the puck, and they're going to try to get offense going here.
Well, we are underway here in the second period. Really battling for it along the far boards. Fader will just dump that in. Deflected out of play by Masternock, so it's going to be a stoppage of play already. I'm really not sure why he just felt the need to kind of.
He was tired of it. He wanted a new puck.
He didn't like this one. He wants a new one. He wants a refund.
It was probably the laziest blocker save I think he's going to make.
One of the easier ones he'll have to. You'll take him how you'll get him, but
he pad the stats,
Yeah, that's exactly right. Looks better on the score sheet. Face-off officially going to be won by the Pointers, but taken right back by the Blue Devils. I think that's Dahlside, shot blocked by Mick Hennigan. He had a little bit of an easy time just kind of walking in. Nobody really tried to take him off the puck until Hennigan took him off of it.
Yeah, definitely had a possibility of having a good opportunity there, but Hennigan, as you said, just got right in front of it and was able to stop it.
And that's something he's been notorious for this entire season, is just ruining opponents' offensive chances. Ooh, there was a chance up front.
And that's a whiff.
Swing and a miss by the Stout Blue Devils, and they're going to have to reset. Opponent will go for a change.
Yeah, swing and a miss, strike one here. It's baseball season.
That would have been 1-0 Stout if they could have.
There's a very real possibility.
Pointers carried over the line. That's Anderson. Anderson will pass it up to, I think that's Pulius. Pulius will dump it around behind the net. Recollected by the Blue Devils.
Both sides in this entire game really struggled to keep possession of it. Look at right there. You see Brett Humberstone can't keep it into the.
Tried to, blew a little bit of a tire trying to keep that one in. They'll pass it right out to him, but he's not able to corral that. Keller just gets back on side, just barely, but he'll turn the puck over to Anderson. Anderson dumps it in for Sherino. Sherino gives chase, but he's not able to corral it.
Fletcher Anderson trying to get his 6th goal against the Blue Devils this season.
Been very, very productive for them.
again, should Stout win this first game, we'll go into
A little bit of a mini game.
a mini game, a one period kind of, I don't want to call it, kind of winner take all situation there.
No, I think that's something that's unique to the WIAC too. Is this like mini game sort of thing? They don't do a third game. They call it a
He
best of
falls
two with
it.
this tiebreaker. Oh, the opportunity.
Pass
oh.
out in front of the net, but nobody there. That would have been an easy tap in, but there was nobody home. It'll finally be cleared, collected by Romatario. He'll pass it up for Matthew Falls.
But it's a really interesting format that Division III, and in particular the WIAC has.
Slap shot by Junker goes nowhere. I think it just rolled off a stick, and the Blue Devils have a 3-on-2 the other way. Connett passes it over, deflected, and so the Pointers, if they hustle, will have one. I'm sorry, there's going to be a penalty behind the play.
Like
Who's it going to be
they're
on?
gonna get interference on Stevens Point.
It is. Heading straight to the box with little argument is Evan Junker. The official call is going to be tripping.
As you said, you have the power play for Stevens Point obviously is not very good, but as you said earlier, the penalty kill for Stevens Point, I think it's best in the nation. Knock on wood right now. Obviously knock on wood.
It's certainly up there. I know it's best in the WIAC, but also thinking about this first goal that Stout scored yesterday
Was on the
power play.
In the second period.
See if history can repeat itself here. Face-off is
Won
won
by the Blue
Stout.
Devils. Boyce will pass it along the point. They'll be passed back to Boyce. Boyce will pass it to Beckstad. Beckstad looking to get something going. He'll wheel back around, being accosted by Humberstone. Boyce passes it along the point. Back to Boyce. He's going to wind up and change his mind. Looking for somebody to pass it to. It'll be passed to Beckstad. Beckstad crossed the point, deflected in front. Nobody can corral it, playing a little bit of a tennis match there almost. But Boyce will have it, and he'll try to get it back to Beckstad, and they'll try to start it up. Bunting just able to kind of throw it back down, and they'll clear the zone and go for a change.
I want to remind you guys, Stevens Point only has one shorthanded goal on the season.
Interesting.
David Hill tries to clear the zone, but it's kept in by Rallis. Rallis wheels around. Still wheeling around. Passed over to Dayakawa. Dayakawa over to Hyde. Hyde over to Beckstad. Pass in the slot. Shot goes wide. Second follow-up shot saved by Wagner.
Great defense there by Stevens Point. Was able just to keep an eye on the puck and able to put a stick in it so that it would go off the course.
Great
Beckstad
defense,
with
but
it.
also kind of bad offensive execution.
Over to
There's a
Halverson.
chance of an open shot there, and they just couldn't convert.
That's a good point.
Hyde with it now. He'll pass it over to Dayakawa, I think, and he'll miss it, and it'll be cleared by the Pointers.
Only about 35 seconds left on his power play for Stout, so it's a crunch time for them.
Dahlside passes it over. Shot saved by Wagner. Stays in play. It almost hit the roof, but it did not. Fader with it now. Pins it along the near corner. Still fighting for it with Hyde. It'll come out to the point to Moore. Moore passes it over. Tries to get a pass in the front. Blocked by Romatario.
Nice block there. There was an open lane there if he didn't get his body in the way.
Gonorowski tries to flip it out to Fader. Fader still has it, battles it, and does not manage to clear the zone. But their pass goes in, deflects off a Fader stick, and out of play. We'll get a stoppage.
So that's a quick sort of 4 minutes and 37 seconds here. We got 15:23 to go here in this second period.
1 second left on the power play.
1 second.
They get one. Stout gets one whole second after his face-off.
It's still a crucial power. It's still a crucial face-off because they're down a man. They're going to have to come all the way from the penalty box if they want to get right on defense. So who knows? I mean,
in reality, it could be a whole couple of seconds now for Stout if they get this face-off.
It's like Fodl and Witherspooning to go at it here.
face-off won by the Pointers, and that's going to kill a power play. Icing will be waved off.
I think they said that Chirino was close enough to it.
It'll be taken off of it, though, and Stewart will have to give chase, and that's going to be icing the other way. Chirino really showing his speed there, hustles all the way down to the ice, cancels out the icing, tries to get something going, has himself taken off the puck, and that'll be icing for Stout, so we'll come back all the way down the other way.
Great opportunity here for Stevens Point, trying to get something going on the offensive side.
Yeah, absolutely.
Still defensive, very defensive battle.
Need to get more shots on goal here. Masterdad he's comfortable in the net, and if he's not seeing anything coming his way, he's
officially won by the Blue Devils. They'll start their rush up the ice. Floggo tries to get it tapped in. Stewart giving him heck behind in the defense. Collected by Stout. He'll pass it out to the point. I think that's Boyce with it. Pass it back to Flogel, over to Hyde. Hyde with a shot, deflected, saved by Wagner. Follow-up shot goes wide.
A great defense, a great goaltending there by Wagner. There's a broken stick on.
Daikawa with a broken stick there.
Pointer's just trying to get it over half ice. Witherspoon takes a big hit, and he'll hit the deck. Humberstone gives chase into the far corner. Really battling for it now. Harrison Stewart with it, passes it around behind the net. Up to Dawson Chirino. Dawson Chirino not able to corral it, and it'll go right back to the Blue Devils. Taken by Humberstone. Humberstone tries to get a pass, immediately stopped by one of the Blue Devils, and he'll take a hit way after the play. Witherspoon with it now. It seems like really none of the Pointers are able to corral this puck or stay on their feet.
Oh, you're absolutely right. But right now we're about 6 minutes into the period, so the ice really isn't that slick.
Dawson Chirino with it in the corner, tries to pass it out to the point, except that'll be deflected and it'll be cleared. McKennigan with it now, tries to get it up, over to Wilson Northey. Wilson Northey will pass it back to Sam Ide, all the way up to Sean Bunting. Sean Bunting passes it over to Witherspoon, but he's not able to corral it. Matthew Falls fighting for it, passes it to Sam Ide. Sam Ide will dump it in behind the net. And that is going to be flicked over the net by one of the Pointers. I'm sorry, no, by one of the Blue Devils. He's not happy with himself.
Yeah, this
We're
is
gonna stop it to play.
Yeah, stoppage of play, able to pick up that broken stick.
Thought for a second they were talking about like a penalty, but guess I was wrong.
Again here, another chance for Stevens Point in the offensive zone. Have not been able to win a lot of these faceoffs here. Stout has done a really good job here at taking that opportunity away from Stevens Point.
Face off, won by the Pointers, pass out to the point by Sam Ide. Sam Ide with a slap shot, his stick breaks. He's gonna have to defend the rush without a stick. Tries to take Hart off the puck. Wonderful backhand shot saved by Wagner. A lot of pushing and shoving well after the whistle. Hart is not happy by that missed opportunity. They had a chance to catch the Pointers off guard.
And just a lot of power on that one behind Ide. I don't know if maybe his stick had been broken beforehand or whatever. Just instantly snaps right on the shot.
I mean, it's very fortunate that Wayne Wagner was able to make that stop. I mean, they basically had what is essentially a 2-on-1. I mean,
no, you're absolutely right.
Even if Sam Hyde, was still there, there's only so much he can do with just his body.
Yeah, it's like 2-1 in a quarter, maybe, if we're being generous on a given day.
Oh, you're absolutely right. Face-off is kind of a tie-up, but Stevens Point now has it.
Fader passes it to Stewart. I'm sorry, Andrew Poulias is not able to corral it over the blue line. Like I've been saying, they're not able to really corral a puck, or they just, they blow a tire. What's going on, do you think?
I don't know if it's just pretty slick ice. It's hard to tell right now. It shouldn't be based on the kind of the wear and tear that everything has gone. I mean, we're getting close to the midway point here in the period, so I certainly don't think it's a fact that the ice is still wet from the Zamboni coming out. Ooh, a dangerous poke there by Wagner.
They'll come out to the point for Stout. He'll dump it in to Beckstad. Beckstad fighting for it, tied up, and so Stewart will take it. Deflected by Jake Tice. Jake Tice tries a pass, but it gets deflected, and the Blue Devils will immediately start it again. Flotto with it now, passes to Beckstad. Jake Tice on the back check, tries to get a stick lift in there, not able to take him off the puck. It'll be packed up to the near corner, kind of behind the goal line, pass around to Stout. Really battling for it along the far corner. It'll come out. Pass is deflected. Flotto up front, saved by Wagner. Rebound, second save by Wagner. What a sequence of events. And then Stewart is taken down, and so the Pointers are going to get their power play.
There was a wide open net there for Stout.
Wagner coming across, showing his veteran skill set, like we've been saying, taking away that angle. He makes a save, and the Pointers are going to go on their power play after Flagel has no choice but to trip Anderson to save the odd man rush.
And it's one of those things you kind of equate it to intentionally taking a pass interference call in football. If you're beat for a touchdown, don't even allow that to happen. Just tackle the guy. That's what they do. And, I mean, it's not the worst idea. Stevens Point's power play that they've had so far tonight, 2 opportunities. They have not had anything come from either of them.
Far.
Let's hope that third time's the charm here for Stevens Point.
Third time may be the charm.
Let's hope so.
Power play won by Stout, kept in the zone by Fletcher Anderson. He'll dump it into the corner. Passed all the way back to Anderson. Anderson's got it now. Kind of wheels up the slot. Passes it behind the net. Julius corrals it. Passes it to Fader. Fader ties the man up to Dawson Sherino. Dawson Sherino with it behind the goal line. Let's see what he'll do. Still has it. Selecting his options. Passes all the way back out to Anderson at the point. Anderson will skate upwards. Pass it to Fader. Fader with a pass out in front to Dawson Sherino. Nobody there. Shot from the point by Mick Hennigan. Saved by the goalie.
Masternat on the save. Again, just really owning the crease.
Anderson not able to keep that in the zone. He's going to be taken out. Little bit of a trip there by Hennigan. There will be no call. Dawson Sherino with it now. Takes a shot. Deflected. Masternak just kind of threw something out there and hoping it made the save.
And he did again. I mean, he's been doing that these past 48 hours. He's been able to do that and do that with success. And this has just been a
good
really
look here for the Pointers. Dawson Sherino with it now. Still wheeling in. Tries to take a shot. Second shot. Saved by Masternak.
Oh, my
Struck
goodness.
the pad out, and it keeps it out of the net. I don't believe it.
This has just been a scrambling offensive possession for Stevens Point.
McKinnon across the point. Second save. No, it goes in. Jordan Fader, the captain of the Pointers, puts it in the back of the net. And finally, Masternak is beaten. The Pointers will not go 0 for 3 on the power play and will convert.
That is just the equivalent of just punching a brick wall until it eventually just punch it hard enough until you break through, and Point is able to finally score the first goal of this game with almost 30 minutes of game time.
I was going to say this, guys, that was really a scrambling possession for both sides, offense and defense. Neither side really had good looks, good sets, and it was really just who would beat Johnny on the spot, who would be able to execute in that situation right there.
The senior and captain, Jordan Fader, finally breaking our deadlock in the second period at about 11 minutes in.
Well,
Third time was the charm there.
Third time was a charm, like you said.
Let's see what Stout can do here to respond. Last night in that game, every opportunity
Pass
that
out in
they
front,
had,
almost tried another wraparound, saved by Wagner. Oh my goodness, that was almost a repeat of what happened last time.
Absolutely. Every time that Stevens Point has had a punch, Stout usually has had a counter punch. And that was a couple inches away from being a 1-1 game in the matter of a few seconds.
I think Ryan Wagner was kind of expecting them to try that after being scored on by it last time.
I think he's been a little ready now. One thing I've noticed that Ryan has been playing a lot of these defensive possessions really
weird angle shot.
Standing up, yeah. That was a really bad shot there by Stout.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I genuinely don't know what they were trying to do.
And if now that you're down a goal, you want to take the best shots you possibly can. And just these random turnarounds and just a prayer kind of shot. Those don't do anything for your offense right now.
Pointers trying to get another rush going up ice. They'll keep it and just dump it in. I think they're going to try to go for a change.
We'll get a couple fresh legs there. Moberg, Omatario, and Junker on the ice here for Stevens Point.
Deflected by Evan Junker in the neutral zone. He'll pass it up, but the Pointers were going for a change, so there was nobody home to grab it. That'll come all the way around to the net to Romatario. Romatario passes it in front. It's deflected wide.
Ooh, it was a very good chance there of it just finding a hole in the net and just wasn't just able to go a little wide.
Icing is going to be called the other way, so that's going to come all the way back down to Masternak, to the right side of Masternak.
Hey, so I just want to say, so right now, as soon as that goal was scored for Stevens Point, you could just feel the energy of this place just completely liven up. It was getting a lot more tense as the minutes were just ticking down. Nothing was happening. You just feel it just get more and more tense. But as soon as that goal was scored, everything was just elation.
No, absolutely, and you can tell just by the way that these guys are skating. Ooh, there's another
I want to
chance up
remind
front.
everybody that you're listening to WWSP Stevens Point 90 FM's broadcast of tonight's conference matchup. The stream wonderfully put on by SBTV.
About 9:10 to go here in this second period. Stevens Point on top 1-0, guys.
They finally beat the brick wall that is Masternak.
Yeah,
wonderful tap-in goal by Jordan Fader. Wonderful assist all around. Good passing there on that power play. They can manage to keep doing that, and I'm sure that they're going to go far in the NCAA tournament.
You got to like their chances if they're able to continue to do that consistently. If they just keep it in the zone there by Hennigan. But yeah, it was a hectic power play there. The final sequence, again, all intents and purposes, it was not a very well executed power play, but they were just able to get that Johnny on the spot situation and put it in the back of the net and got ourselves a 1-0 game.
I'll say
Absolutely.
at some point, when do you just say we'll take it, because it's
Absolutely
definitely
right.
one of
You're
those games
absolutely
you'll
right.
take
Yeah,
it.
for sure. Absolutely. Take it any way you can get it.
Stout is taken down. That is a non-call.
Wow,
that was pretty flagrant in my opinion. Stout's not happy with that.
I think they have a case for that. That was
absolutely. That was
blatant.
about as flagrant as it gets. Hart with it now, tries to go a pass, deflected by Sam Ide, I think. Jake Tice, a little bit of a big hit in the corner, but he stays on his feet, and it'll be taken out by Sam Ide. Oh my goodness, Bergston tried a big hit on Sam Ide. Sam Ide still remaining on his feet.
Sam's a big guy, 6'4", 6'5", maybe even 6'6", with skates on. But he can take that hit, but you're absolutely right. There's some emotion being thrown down out there, especially by the Blue. Oh, big hit there alongside
almost
the
looked like a bit of
boards.
a whiff there from Stevens.
I think Andrew Poulias was trying to get a big hit in there, but he just missed. I mean, both these teams trying to throw the body, trying to prove to each other that they can be more physical. Andrew Poulias in with it now. He'll lead up and pass it all the way across to Harrison Stewart. Harrison Stewart along the far board. Pass towards the net. Hit the post, and it's no good. That is not a goal. It hit the post. Harrison Stewart keeps it in the zone. Another shot. Glove save by Masternak. The entire crowd reacting as if it went in, but that did just hit the crossbar.
So close. Just a little bit of a deja vu of Stout's first almost goal in the first period near the ticking ends of that, but that could have been 2-0 easily.
That could have been, yeah, absolutely. Also, a little bit of a score update from Eau Claire. It is still 0-0, about 9-ish minutes left to play in the second.
It's very similar to the game going here.
Incredibly similar, yeah.
Let's play out the scenarios. If Stevens Point's able to finish this one off here, obviously there's still 7:30 to go in this one, and an entire period left to play. And if Eau Claire is able to take care of business against Superior, it would be a rematch. Exact same place, exact same teams as last year's WIAC championship game. And if you're Stevens Point, you can't help but kind of have that in the back of your mind, because that was a scenario where Eau Claire came in here and just thumped them.
Exactly. The Blue Golds came into Stevens Point to KB Willett and just blew them out 6-2. Pointers just really did not skate well that entire night. So you got to think maybe there's a chance for them to kind of take their revenge. You got to think that they're going to play with some sort of vengeance.
You're absolutely right. And last year as well, that loss to Eau Claire in the tournament, I think also dashed their chances of being in the NCAA tournament as well. So they got a couple things going with them.
No, you're absolutely right. But also,
no-angle shot from, oh my goodness, that was a no-angle shot from Wilson Northey from behind the goal line. Masternak is just able to get a pad on that one and save it. A little bit of a poke check after the whistle. I think that's what they're mad about.
Back to that point, guys, you don't want to think too far ahead, because you still got a team in front of you.
Exactly.
If you get caught looking too far ahead, all of a sudden Stout maybe has the lead. They have the momentum going into that one-period situation. All of a sudden, maybe your season's over.
Face-off won by the Pointers, collected by Romatario, and he'll squirt it around the net to Wilson Northey. Wilson Northey take a little bit of a tumble there, but it looks like he's okay. Come out to the point, quick shot towards the net, hit somebody in front. It'll go back to the far corner. Wilson Northey tries to get it into the lane. A little bit of a wraparound shot, saved by Masternak. He was expecting that one, and it'll squirt out to Romatario. Romatario pass it out to Gonrowski. Gonrowski just dumps it into Matthew Falls behind the net. Matthew Falls with it now, wheeling around. He'll pass it over to Romatario. Gonrowski in front of the net, saved by Masternak.
Man, what a performance. I know he gave up a goal earlier, but my goodness, it is something to see him inside the net.
He's just so consistent.
He is incredibly consistent. You know, I mean, his defense has just got to give him some more love.
No, you're absolutely right. And if you're Stout, that's the area you're thinking at this stage of this season, that's what you need. You need to have a solid goaltender, and they've had that. They need to get more shots on goal here. They got to do him a favor. Let him get a breather. Get the offensive zone open for them. And as the puck exits
the zone, Mick Hennigan is going to corral that one. Splits two defenders, but has it himself taken off the stick. Collected by Moline. If he hurries, he's got a clear line to the net. Shoot, save by Masternak. Follow-up shot goes wide.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, man, that was so good. Such a great opportunity, but another fail.
Another block there by one of the Blue Devils, but, yeah, you can hear that pad. Big thump on kind of leg pad there of Masternak, but my goodness.
Cody Moline has it. He'll just dump it in and go for a change as he kind of gets hit well after the puck is gone.
Yeah, Stevens Point with 5 fresh legs on the ice.
Plucked it by Harrison Stewart in his own zone. Passes it over to Gonrowski. I'm sorry, Hennigan. He'll wheel around and stop behind the net, being accosted by some of the Blue Devils.
5 minutes, 55 seconds left here in this second period.
Passes it over to Fader. Blue Devils really well on the forecheck and the force a turnover. Goes over to Boyce. Boyce is not able to corral that one, and he'll just try to dump that in back around behind the net.
This is big here for Stout. They need to get some threats, some shots here on the goal because Wagner, he's had a lot of time here to catch his breath. He hasn't seen anything here much of this period.
Passes it up to Tice. That puck looked like it was going out for half a second.
I thought it was definitely going out in the crowd.
Looked like a missile aimed for some poor kid's face, but it just stays in and hits the glass. Collected by the Pointers. They'll get a stretch pass up the ice. Collected by Witherspoon. He's done all alone. Score! Wonderful forehand, backhand goal. Oh my goodness. What a pass and then goal by Connor Witherspoon. What a goal.
What a stretch pass. That was so impressive right there.
What a stretch pass. I don't believe it. Got him. I mean, it split every single Stout defender, allowed Witherspoon to get in by himself, and he just deked Masternak to the wrong side of the net and slipped it behind his right pad. It is now 2-0 Stevens Point.
Make no mistake about it. That outlet pass quickly up the ice is what set that up. If they don't have a perfect pass like that, we don't have ourselves a 2-0 game.
And now Point, it's a lot more comfortable in here now. A very dangerous lead still. 2-0 still dangerous, but it's more comfortable.
Pulias has a shot that goes and hits a man in traffic. But I definitely agree with what you're saying, Ashton. It's a lot more comfortable for the Pointers. They've got the morale, they've got the momentum. They're going to try to keep it going.
4:55 to go here in this second period. No, you're absolutely right. 2-0. 2 goals put up by Stevens Point here against a guy who has been a brick wall.
Beckstad in with it by himself. Dekes out one of the Pointers. Tries to pass. I think that might have been a pass towards the net. Quick no-angle shot from behind the goal line. Saved by Wagner. He just got a piece of that. He was not expecting it. And a lot of pushing and shoving happening after this.
Here.
Yeah, a little bit of extracurricular activity happening well after the whistle. One of the Pointers hit the deck. I think that's just going to have them be a little bit of talking to. I don't think there's going to be a penalty for either side out of this. Still jawing as they go back to their benches, though.
Just keep cooler heads prevails. Like, come on now. What is this? We don't need guys throwing each other after the play. Just get back to the play. There's no need for this.
I definitely agree. Cool, like you're saying, cooler heads prevail. It's already been. It was shown, that once Stout took the penalty, we scored on that power play. So, cooler heads prevail, like you're talking about. Also, a little bit of a score update from Eau Claire. It is still 0-0.
Man, that game is just inherited all the defense from this game, too. It's crazy.
Although, Ashton, you're kind of right about a little bit of offensive fireworks kind of shown here as of late by Stevens Point. We still got about 4.5 minutes to go.
Matthew Falls has it. He's quickly taken off the puck, though, and it goes behind the net. Beckstad smoked from behind. That is going to be a penalty. Oh, no.
Yeah,
that was pretty
obvious.
And we'll get a stoppage of play here as Beckstad is going to draw the call. It's going to be 2 minutes for a cross-check. I think that is going to be
Falls.
No, Matthew Falls.
Oh, excuse me. Yes, Matthew Falls. But, yeah, you're absolutely –
that was pretty obvious.
I mean, that is just lack of discipline right there. There's nothing other. There's nothing other to say that. You're emotional right now. You got yourself a 2-0 lead. Everything is going your way. There is no reason to commit a penalty right now to give them a man advantage because they had nothing. They've had absolutely nothing here. And if they're able to score here, make this a one-score game, all of a sudden we've got a brand new hockey game.
It's like what happened last night. They scored and then all of the momentum, and then all of a sudden they took a really, really dumb penalty, and all of it went the other way. So Stout looking to convert tonight. They win the draw. It'll come out to Boyce. Boyce passes it over to Beckstad. Beckstad takes a shot, saved by Wagner, and he'll cover that one up.
Yeah, great save there. Just really textbook, right guy right in the cradle there. Just really easy stuff.
Yeah, neither of these sides these guys like each other very much. You can see as after every stoppage in play, ref quickly skates over there to make sure nothing extra happens afterwards. But yeah, what a game so far, and big time opportunity right now here for Stout. They've got to convert here to stay in this game now.
Face-off won by the Pointers. Harrison Stewart with it, and he will just fling that one off the glass and out of the zone.
That was a great play there by Stewart. It looked like he was for a second going to try to kind of corral
David
it.
Hill on the forecheck. Chance for a shot. Saved by, oh my goodness, saved by Masternock. The Pointers, David Hill came in all alone on the forecheck, forced a turnover, and got one heck of a shot off.
David Hill wanted to try to make it the second man down goal on the year for the Stevens Point, but they just couldn't. Short-handed
Boyce with
goal
it
is
now
what I mean.
in his offensive zone. Just looking for somebody to pass
He's
to.
looking to load
Pass
up
it over
here.
to Backstad. Backstad across the way, nobody home,
Good.
and that will be cleared by the Pointers.
It was a good look by Backstad, just nobody home. And, you know, I'm surprised that Stout is not playing a little bit more of kind of a goalie screen kind of situation here. Get Wagner
Harrison Stewart is dumped in the corner as he went to go play the puck. Fans wanting a call, they're not going to get one. To me, that hit looked clean.
Yeah, that was a clean hit. Obviously, the fans here
Little bit
favoring
bias.
Stevens Point a little bit. They're going to want anything on
Just under 3 minutes to go here in the second. 40 seconds left on the power play. Stout looking to set it up once again. Keller in by himself. Shot towards the net. Saved by Wagner through traffic.
And what a move that was by Keller. He took it all the way, hit
Hyde.
everything, but just couldn't finish it.
Hyde cannot corral a pass, and it'll go all the way out of the zone. 25 seconds left to go on the man advantage. Dahlside in by himself. Passes it around to Moore. Moore collected on the floorboards. Hits it behind the net. Stout with it still now. They collect it finally, and I think they're going to start something out. Passed over to Hyde. Hyde back over across the point to Moore. Moore's shot is blocked in front by Wilson Northey. Wilson Northey pins it around, and that's going to do it for our penalty. A little bit of a lazy backhand. Oh, my goodness. Ryan Wagner almost did not pick that one up. That was a bit of a lazy backhand. Shot again, saved by Ryan Wagner. He's made a couple of quick saves.
There are a couple, broken stick there. Falls doesn't have a stick.
It's broken.
He's going right at that broken stick was Gonrowski.
Gonrowski has it. He'll dump it in for himself behind the net. In with speed. Quick close off by Hyde, I think that is.
Hyde tried to tattoo Gonrowski right there.
The Blue Devils still not able to clear the zone. They finally do, but then Hyde
Almost took his
dumps it back
teammate's
in.
head off there, trying to keep the puck in the offensive zone. They just do.
collected behind the net.
Oh, what a move there
What
by
a move.
Shirino.
If it worked, that would have been the best move I've seen, but it didn't.
And just put the brakes on. Oh, man. If he's able to
And
keep
it's going
that.
to go out of play. I mean, to me, that looked kind of like Sidney Crosby, you know, his pass to himself off the back of the net. I think that's what he was kind of trying there. If that move worked, I think that we might have had a really good scoring chance.
70 seconds left in this second period. Meaning
Yeah, a minute and 10
and
seconds.
10 seconds to go here. But 2-0 is the score.
I have a score update from Eau Claire. Eau Claire finally breaks their deadlock, and it's now 1-0.
It's pretty much expected from what it seems like over there, based off just seeding and all that stuff. And from what it looks like, it's knock on wood, of course, but it's looking like that rematch. But we'll see what happens.
Sam Hyde trying to keep it in the zone. He does. Passes out. Not able to corral that one, and the Blue Devils are going to start their rush up ice. 1 minute remaining here in the second. Sam Hyde has it. Tries to get it up. Can't get it going.
Thought it looked like maybe Moline had a stick a little broken, but no, he still got it.
They have it pinned along the far boards. Stout will finally come out with it. Lazy shot towards the net, goes high.
That's one of those things. If you're Stout, you've got to take smarter shots than that. Just wristers and a hope. Oh my goodness, what
Big
a takedown!
hit, and
oh
there
my
is going to be a penalty
absolutely.
coming.
And Ryan Wagner, he sees the hand raised. I don't know why he's skating outside the net.
He had no idea it was raised. It was right behind him. That is going to be interference, and he's not happy about that one. That's going to be Dylan Rallis going to the box. There's 30 seconds left in this period, gentlemen, which means that unless the Pointers convert again here on the power play, they're going to start the second with a man advantage.
What a
I mean, that was
sequence.
well behind the play. What was he thinking?
There was just I don't know what in the world that the thought process was there, and obviously we'd have to look back at it after the game's over. But I'm a little confused as to how that even happened. Maybe they're making the argument that they got tangled up and maybe it was a flop or something. I don't know.
Pointers trying to get their offense going. Attempted pass is blocked by one of the Stout Blue Devils. They'll try to chew up as much time as they can. 13 seconds left here. Not able to be kept in the zone by Anderson. He'll pass it over to Pulius. 8 seconds left here now.
I think they're just going to be
Yeah, I
content
think
with
they're
letting
gonna
this
take
kind of play out
Yes,
here.
sir. Pass to Dawson Trino. That is going to take us to the end of the second. Pointers on top, 2-0. They will start the third with a man advantage for about a minute and 30 seconds. Dylan Rallis still telling Schroeder what he thinks of that call as he heads to the locker room.
And he may have a case at that. I know they were tangled up there, but I did see an arm kind of around the head of, I think Hennigan it was, or whatever player for Stevens Point. But, regardless, they're going to have about a minute and a half left of the man advantage here before we're at full strength. But if you're Stevens Point and Coach Krieger, that is as good of a second period as you can ask for. You put up 2 goals. You beat a guy who'd been playing just fantastic in the crease all night. And what a tremendous, tremendous second period by Stevens Point.
Like Liam said earlier, the point has just been really good. The goalies against Stevens Point has just done statistically worse in the second period overall, and it's just another case of that. Point was able to finally break that deadlock and then get 1 extra goal of extra credit there off of a really nice stretch pass. So all the momentum right now is in Point's favor. They just need to convert it.
Without that stretch pass, that goal does not happen. And we'll have to check the stats to see who made that stretch pass. I can't remember at the moment, but we would not be up to nothing right now. That was
absolutely
a
not.
beauty of a pass. Split every single defender in the way. Allowed Wilson, Witherspoon, it was Witherspoon, right?
Yep.
Witherspoon in to get by himself and just deke Masternak. I keep wanting to say Markstrom. I don't know why that is. I deke Masternak all the way to the wrong side of the post, and just a beautiful goal from him.
Oh, you're absolutely right. It was a great play all around, and Coach Krieger cannot be upset after that period.
That pass is going to be from Mick Hennigan. I'm sorry, no, Jake Tice. Jake Tice with the wonderful stretch pass to allow that 2-0 lead to happen. Well, anything else you guys want to add?
Nope, I think that'll just about do it, and then we'll get ready to send it back to the studio.
We are going to send it back to the studio. If you're just joining us, Eau Claire is up on top 1-0 over in Eau Claire. That's going to do it for us for here in the second period. We're send it back to the studio for some more music. We'll see you after the break. And welcome back to KB Willett. Just a reminder, you're listening to WWSP Stevens Point 90 FM's broadcast of tonight's WIAC tournament matchup between the UW-Stout Blue Devils and the UW-Stevens Point Pointers. It's been a very interesting game so far. Obviously, the Pointers are on top 2-0. They played very, very well in that second period. Jake Tice with I think the best assist we've seen from anybody all year, finding Wilson Northey, getting him on the breakaway and scoring.
Well, the only way that goal happens if you have that good of an assist. So it's just to put it right in the pocket, easy shot, wide open goal, and Stevens Point is able to capitalize. But then what a great outlet pass by Mick Hennigan that led to the second goal that put the Pointers up 2-0. But this is crunch time here for the Blue Devils. This is their season right now. They lose, they're out. Their only hope of making the NCAA tournament is they got to win the whole thing and get that auto bid here. And so they got to pull a rabbit out of the hat right now to try to get back in this one. By no means are they out of this. There's 20 minutes left of hockey. They can get it to within one here, close to the midway point. I'd say this would be a whole new game. They'll be in it.
Absolutely. You know, as I've heard from other people, a 2-0 lead to hockey is one of the most dangerous leads because it's still close enough for people to come back. But it's far enough ahead that, you know, if you have that lead, you feel comfortable, and you don't want to do that. You want to stay on your toes at all times because, especially in this type of scenario right here, Stout is playing with everything they got now. They have to. This is their season. You know, winning the tournament is their only hope of getting to the WIAC tournament because for the first time.
The NCAA tournament.
I should say the NCAA AA tournament because for the first time.
They need to give Masternock help. I mean, they're kind of just leaving him out to dry a lot of these times. Just a reminder, Point will start on about a minute and a half man advantage due to the Dylan Morales penalty for holding near the end of the second period. We are just about ready to go here.
And Hart on the face-off.
And we are underway here in KB Willett. Stout wins, and he'll dump it in right now for Sherino to collect, and he will. Sherino will leave it behind. And the Pointers will start their rush up the ice on the stick of Mick Hennigan. Mick Hennigan passes it over to Fletcher Anderson. Fletcher Anderson back to Fader. Passes it back to Poulias. Passes it back to Fader, who sends it all the way around for Dawson Sherino. Dawson Sherino passes it to Mick Hennigan, who unfortunately does not keep it in the zone.
I'm going to say this right now. Stout really needs to get something here in the first 5 minutes of this period. If it gets to a 15-minute mark and they don't have any offensive threat here, they're probably not going to like how this game ends.
I absolutely agree with you. Mick Hennigan has it now. He'll drop it back for Dawson Sherino, who gets stood up at the blue line and loses the puck, and the Stout Blue Devils will dump it right back in to the waiting stick of Fletcher Anderson. Fletcher Anderson yet to continue his goal streak against the Blue Devils.
Still 19 minutes or so left here.
Fader with it across the blue line. Gets stood up around by Hyde. Hyde will lose it, however, and it'll come all the way out to Poulias. Poulias will pass it all the way across, back to Poulias. Poulias' shot gets blocked right in front by Flogel, and the Blue Devils will clear the zone.
Yeah, only about 10 seconds left on this power play, so it seems like they're just going to try and get an offensive possession going, but won't get anything from it.
Again, this is the fourth power play that Stevens Point has had. And yes, they have scored in one. They have not looked good in any of them.
That's 1 for 4 so far. Quick shot by Stout, saved by Ryan Wagner. A little bit of a pad save. The Blue Devils came in so quick.
Again, the hustle that this team has, follow up their own miss. Right now, they need a score.
Puck gets deflected out of play, and we'll get a stoppage. About 18 minutes left in this one, 18 minutes and 8 seconds.
It's going to be an extremely stressful 18 minutes and 8 seconds.
Absolutely. Absolutely. For Stout, absolutely. I mean, they are going to try. They're going to throw everything they have at Ryan Wagner until he breaks.
No, absolutely, and that's what they have to do right now. Their only hope is they need to rattle Ryan Wagner, and that's easier said than done. He's got 6 years of experience in that net for Stevens Point, and so he knows he's faced everything. But this is crucial right now for Stevens Point.
Absolutely is. It'll be passed around behind the net out to Point. Wilson Northey collects it and clears the zone. It'll be passed all the way up to Matthew Falls. Matthew Falls can't collect it, though, and Stout will begin their rush back the other way. Here comes Beckstead in. Shot misses wide.
Beckstead's had a couple good looks here tonight, not able to convert on any of them so
Absolutely.
far.
Matthew Falls tries to clear the zone. It's kept in by Stout, and he'll ring it around. Sorry, that wasn't Beckstead. That was Daikawa. Sean Bunting brings it all the way up the ice, loses about the blue line. They'll go behind Masternak. Beckstedt plays it up, and the Blue Devils will start their rush up the ice. They'll dump it into the far corner for Andrew Poulias to try to collect. He can't get to it, and they'll come out to Sam Ide. Sam Ide really battling for it in the corner now, but it'll come back out to the Blue Devils. Up to Steckert. Steckert goes up the far board. Absolutely leveled by Mick Hennigan. Great hit, shoulder to shoulder.
Getting tattooed against the wall there was Andrew Poulias.
And the Pointers clear the zone, but nobody touches it, so we'll get icing.
Physical play here to start this third period.
I mean, well, you expect nothing less, though.
No, absolutely. And, 16:54 to go here in this third period and final period of regulation. But, also one thing that they have to consider here is they got to keep Stout cannot panic. This time of your season is ticking away. You cannot start to panic because all of a sudden
you're going to let in bad goals and you're going to give up bad penalties.
Give up bad penalties. And Stevens Point, they're like a shark in the water. If they smell blood, it'll be over. So they got to keep their heads on their shoulders here if they want to have any hope at pulling this one off.
Oh, here's an opportunity
now. Andrew Poulias in by himself. Scores! Picks the top left corner and shoots it over the shoulder of Tyler Masternak. And just like that, the Pointers are up 3-0.
Absolute disaster for Stout. That is the one thing they could not do, and they let it happen. As Will said, they needed to score within that 5 minutes. They let Point score within that 5 minutes, and now things are looking bleak for Stout.
Now it's certainly not over yet. 16:42 to go here, but now that Stevens Point has increased that margin, it needs to happen now.
Andrew Poulias absolutely picked his corner and just roofed it over the right shoulder of Tyler Masternak. What a beautiful goal from him.
Now you're starting to kind of see Masternak a little shaky there offsides on Stevens Point
already.
But Masternak getting a little shaky here now that he's let in 3 tonight. Realistically only gave up 2 yesterday, but they're going to give him for 3 yesterday too. But
because of that unfortunate bounce in the front.
I'll say, at some point, what is this just fatigue right here? Because Masters, I feel like, has played just a good game currently. They just let go of 3.
And when you're in your situation of back-to-back games here, obviously late in the season, I think you're absolutely right, Ashton, that fatigue will play a part to that. But also, that's what the intermission is for. It's allowed to catch your breath. Icing should be called.
Icing will be waved off. The Stout beats Point to that puck.
Oh, KV Willett's getting a little rowdy right now.
A little bit of a raucous crowd here as, Point's up 3-0. Steckert plays it. Witherspoon tries to hit him, but he takes a little bit tumble. Halverson collects it and manages to almost clear the zone. Not quite. Point keeps it in. They'll go for a change. A lot of tired legs out there. And so Stout will try to get their thing going. Halverson passes it to himself. He's crunched along the Pointers bench. And Evan Junker is going to collect the puck behind the net.
And with a 3-0 lead here, Stevens Point, you've got to stay disciplined. Don't give them any opportunities in a power play. Don't give them any chances here. Just kind of salt this clock away right now because not only is Stout playing against you, they're playing against the clock, and they need to score. They need to score quick.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Beckstedt with it now along the far boards. He'll just try to pass it in, hit somebody in front, and it'll be collected by the Pointers. Back to Beckstedt. Beckstedt will pass it up, and it'll go out to the point. Beckstedt with it now. Sorry, not Beckstedt. A little bit of a tie-up over there. Stout asking for a penalty. They won't get one. And that puck will be dished over to the far corner and collected by Evan Junker.
There just has not been a single offensive threat here. Nice outlet pass quickly up to
Wilson Northey. He's in by himself. He's got nobody to help him. He'll pass it all the way across to Cody Moline. Cody Moline gets tied up behind the net, and he'll lose control of the puck. But it'll be kept in. Quick shot towards the net, blocked in front. Over quarter Moberg. Moberg's shot goes out of play. Sorry, not Cody Moberg, Isaac Moberg.
Yep. But no, Stout has not had a single good defensive or offensive possession this entire period so far. And if they want to have any hope here at coming back, they need to notch a goal here soon. And if you're Stevens Point, you're doing everything right so far here. You're keeping them in, you're keeping the puck in the offensive zone here. You're just taking time off that clock right now. With a 3-0 lead, they just want this clock to go down because they can see the light at the end of the tunnel. They just don't want to let up here.
Coming with it now. He'll throw it towards the net, goes wide.
Players
Bit of a no-angle shot saved by Masternak. He tried to bank that in off his numbers.
Like Dayakawa without a stick for a little bit, so Stevens Point, in all essence, had a man advantage, but nothing doing.
You know, I guess it's just, you made a great point, is that Stevens Point is now in a place where they just want to run the clock out. They want to just try and play the same great defense that they play in all day and just try not to get
Quick
Stout
shot from the point, saved by Masternak.
I guess we could just try and keep talking because that was a extremely
Dangerous
kind of a
chance for the
lazy
Pointers.
shot.
No, absolutely.
No, that was a dangerous chance for the Pointers.
This situation right here, this is a late game. You're up by 10 points in a football game, and you want to just get rid of that clock. You want to get rid of everything. Right now, Stevens Point is doing that, keeping it in the offensive zone. If you score, perfect. If you don't, right now, you're just causing more time to come off.
In my opinion, they should not let their foot off the gas pedal, because if they kind of try to lay back, play defensively, try to take as much time off the clock as they possibly can, that makes them seem lazy, and it might give Stout the opportunity to get one here in the third.
But again, if you limit that clock, you chew it down to close to 10 minutes here, and they're still down by 3. You've got to like your chances to pull away the victory.
And at some point, I'm going to...
Steal in front of that by Dawson Chirino, and not able to get a shot off. Boys keep trying to play for that puck. It'll eventually come out to Andrew Pulias. He cannot corral it. What a play by Chirino. Almost had a very good opportunity there. A little bit of a lazy shot towards Ryan Wagner. It'll go wide. Another, I think I'm going to say that was a pass. Goes
Serious
wide.
Frustration setting in here on Stout's end as just turnovers and everything.
Dawson Chirino just not able to stay on side for that one, and he'll get called for icing. Just not able to keep that toe on sides, and so because he wasn't able to get to that puck first, that'll be icing. There's about 13 minutes and 45 seconds left here.
Absolutely, frustration is beginning to set in here on the Blue Devils. You can hear it on the bench. I'm sure you guys can hear some words are being said that are not necessarily PG, but the frustration is coming in here. You played yourself a really, really good season and a really competitive game last night all the way to the end. Now it was a 4-2
shot
finish.
Off the face-off, saved by Wagner.
It was a 4-2 finish, but it was a close game throughout the way, but really that hasn't been the case today. Stevens Point has really taken clear control after that first intermission. It's just has really been one-sided here.
Stout needs to get something going with this face-off here. They probably don't have a shot at winning this thing.
No, absolutely. They need to get something here. They absolutely need to make this a 2-goal game. If they can make it a 1-goal game
Jake
by
Tice
the 10-minute
passes
point.
up to Connor Witherspoon. He kind of got accosted and a little bit of a leveled hit there along the far board. And so Stout is going to take over. Keller tries to pass it to Hart. Hart not able to corral it, and so Fader is going to get it in the far corner. Kind of pinned there. Somebody's going to hit the deck. Stout asking for a penalty.
That was an absolute flop there by number 13.
Yeah, it just seems like he just kind of slipped there. Not really anything.
I don't know what the game plan was
passes
there.
Up to Keller. Keller trying to walk in by himself. He's taken off the puck, and so Point will try to get something going here as everybody goes for change. Harrison Stewart with it now behind the net. And yeah, to much to you guys' point, I agree that was a little bit of a flop. Just kind of maybe lost his footing a little bit. Maybe wanted to see it seem
all
like
of the tension and being pulled was happening in front of him, and he fell backwards. So if that doesn't indicate a flop, I really don't know what does. And it's at that point they're trying to draw something, give yourself the man advantage. And while you can't necessarily blame them, you also got to think, well, if you're in that situation, just earn it. Don't just fake it.
Icing is going to be the call, so that face-off is going to come out to by Ryan Wagner.
And I was going to say, the power play today for Stout has also been struggling, even more so than Point, I would say, because they've had a couple of opportunities in the power play, and they haven't been able to convert either. So they want to try something, but it just doesn't seem like
big
happening.
tangle up in front of the face-off circle. Almost looked like somebody got interfered with. Wilson Northey giving chase to the puck all the way down by behind Masternak now. That puck's going to squirt free to Beckstad, and Stout's going to try to get a rush going here. All the way over to Halverson. Halverson brings it over half ice. Passes along the boards. Stout will dump it in, and Point will collect it. Over to Wilson Northey. Wilson Northey not able to collect it. There's a penalty upcoming.
Yep.
Both referees had their hands up in the air. Very clear tripping call here. Like we were talking about, this is one thing that Point not afford to take, and that's a late penalty. That's going to be Nicholas Aromatario for tripping. This could be the opportunity that Stout needs. There's a lot of hockey left to be played, about 12 minutes to 16 seconds. Do you think that they convert?
They absolutely need to. It's not a can they. This is a situation where if Stout does not convert this power play into points, they're not going to win this game. They need this right now. They need the man advantage right now.
Isaac Moberg in there for the Pointers.
Here's a chance right now.
Here's a chance for Stout. Point gets in the lane. Cross across, nobody home. Stout getting their thing going. Over to Hyde. Back to Hyde. Height shot from the point. Hits a man in front. I think that's Isaac Moberg. But Stout recovers and tries to set up again. Behind the net with it now. Deflected pass. Across to Halverson. Halverson's shot is deflected. Ryan Wagner almost didn't know where that was. Saw it at the last minute. Jake Tice pins somebody along the board. I'm not sure who that is. Can't see the number. Really fighting for it along the near board. It'll eventually squirt free. Over to Hyde. Hyde passes along the point. Shot blocked in front by Sam Ide. Sorry, Brett Humberstone. Big save by Ryan Wagner. I thought that hit the board. It was actually his stick, and the puck is going to come all the way out on the stick of Harrison Stewart. Harrison Stewart loses the puck, tries to keep it in the zone, but he's not able to, and Keller will start the rush back up ice.
So far, so good defensively by Stevens Point. They have just been looking absolutely perfect here in this penalty kill.
45 seconds left on the power play, about 11 minutes left in this period. Still collected by Stout. Hart tries to play it in deep. He's able to do so. Goes out to Hart. Not Hart, to Keller. Sam Ide with it now, tries to clear the zone, and they are not able to. Andrew Poulias, Beckstedt taking a little bit of a tumble there. Andrew Poulias finally shoots the puck out of the zone. They can go for a change.
That's a big tumble right there, because he seems like he could have been able to retrieve that puck, but instead, Point was able to clear and get some fresh legs out.
Over to Diakawa. Drops it to Hart. Rallis. Rallis tries to play it over to Hyde, and Point is going to steal that puck. They hurry, they've got a 2-on-1. It's Gonarowski and Fader. Fader loses the puck. Gonarowski, Fader, he recovered that puck, shot it towards Masternak. Masternak made the save. Gonarowski almost got the shot off.
That was just a massive fail on a 2-on-1 opportunity right there.
Not able to get it off.
Here's a point to make. The power play is over, and now there's 10 minutes left to go, and Stout wasn't able to get anything there.
Nothing. Really, obviously, there's still time left, but the fact that Stout couldn't get any offensive threat there with a man advantage, you've got to like Stevens Point's chances right now.
Here comes Point. They try to start their rush. It is blocked by Bermanis.
Here's an opportunity.
Oh. A wonderful sliding block to take away the pass opportunity. One of the Pointers got dumped behind the play. He's in his own net right now, and Stout will try to get something going. Skates in the front. Saved by Wagner, and we'll get a stoppage of play. Oh, my goodness. Little bit of extracurricular activity after the play.
Get a media timeout here, too. But, yeah, what a sequence there for Stevens Point, and what a save there by Wagner. But, man, missed opportunity there on the 2-on-1 play, just couldn't convert.
A little bit of a score update from Eau Claire to still 1-0. About 10 minutes left in the third period. I think Superior is going to kind of be in the same boat that Stout is currently, that they got to start getting something going. Otherwise, they can kiss their season goodbye.
They might be in a bit more of a desperate spot too, because it's 1-0. You're so close to tying it up. You just need one goal, and nothing's going in. So you might just start. You're pulling out all the measures right now. And I think, especially because think about like a couple weeks ago, Superior was actually playing for the WIAC regular season title. If they would have sweeped Stevens Point, they would have gotten the 1 seed. But now you're the 3rd seed, you're playing against Eau Claire, and you're down, and you're playing in your last 10 minutes of your season right now.
Absolutely, you're absolutely right. And just think about how big of an impact that sweep up in Superior had on the entire landscape of the WIAC here, because even if they split that series, there's a chance that Superior gets a first-round bye and they get
the second
home
seed.
Ice advantage up until the championship game should they go against the #1 seed. But
we are almost ready to resume play here. About 9 minutes and 30 seconds left here in the third period.
We're at this point here. I'm going to pose the question: 3-0. Nothing is going right here for Stout.
Do they pull their goaltender?
When
yes.
do they pull their goaltender?
Absolutely. I'd say it about 2 minutes ago. It's not a question of if they do. It's when they do. Big stretch pass here, almost for Cody Moline, but he is fought off by No Perez, and No Perez and Cody Moline really fought for it there. I mean, that was a wonderful pass right on the tape of Cody Moline, but Perez playing wonderful defense, able to kind of take away that angle from Moline, and the puck gets deflected and out of play, but oh my goodness.
Absolutely right. Great closeout there by Perez. Just eliminated that offensive threat there. As Moline, to his credit, he was racing down the ice, but just a great defensive play there. And you're right here. I'm going to say, you know, if it's still a 3-0 game, I'm going to say 3-minute mark, maybe 3.5-minute mark. They got to start
Chance
getting
up in
something.
front. It's a scramble for the puck.
Oh, that has to be a trip.
They're going to get away with one there because they're going to say he played the puck. But I agree with you. Brett Hummerstone with the puck now. Shot towards the net. Saved by Masternak. I keep wanting to say Markstrom.
I don't know why you keep
I feel like this is another name. I feel like this is a different name because I remember you were talking earlier, and I feel like you said a different name than what you said there. It's just you just have a struggle today.
It's been
a day.
It's been that kind of day.
Yeah, I feel
absolutely.
that.
Wilson Northley in for the Pointers to take the face-off. He's going to go up against Peyton Hart. Stout first line out there. Face-off officially won by Stout. Collected by Moore. He'll wheel around the net, try to get something going. Falls able to collect that puck and shoot it back in behind Masternak.
That could have done some damage right there.
Almost was a very dangerous collision. Matthew Falls keeps the puck in the zone. Playing keep away right now with Stout, but Northley gets a pad on it, trying for a shot, really shoving at the thing, and now there's going to be a pile up.
At the end.
There's going to be a pile up right here in front of the net now, as Stout is
just
not
like an
happy
absolute
with
tackle
point.
there by Peyton Hart. I cannot believe that there wasn't a call there. If there has been,
Wilson Northley tried the wraparound shot. It just met the pad of Masternak, and as the players covered it up, they tried to keep pushing it into the net. That's why Stout's very, very upset. And like you said, there was like almost a tackle.
It
at
was
the end of there.
like a complete tackle, grabbing around like the waist of Wilson Northley. I cannot believe nothing was called on that. Guess there's the frustration is I don't know what Masternak is doing.
Masternak getting himself He's getting himself a little bit more time to kind of collect himself, breathe in, breathe out. It's a tactic goalies use. You know, all of a sudden they got an issue with their equipment, and now we are ready to resume play. Witherspoon in there for the point. Face-off won by Stout, collected by Hyde. He'll take a little bit of a fall behind the net. Maybe he was assisted a little bit by one of the Pointers. Gonrowski collects it in center ice, tries to wheel around and see who he can pass it to. Over to Fader. Fader will touch it, so it will not be icing. Masternak out of his net to play that puck. Passes it over to Gonrowski. Gonrowski tries to take them off their puck, but he's not able to do it. Dayakawa starts to rush up ice, and Stout will try to get some offense going.
If they need some offense, it's absolutely right now. You have 8 minutes left to go. You are running low on time. So
Your
you need
season
to start
is
getting
8
stuff
minutes
in now.
away from being over.
No, you're absolutely right here.
Oh, a bit of a trip. That could be something right here.
That way he just tripped over his own volition. Bide with it now, not able to get anything doing, ran into a point defense. He's able to clear the puck, but that is not going to be icing. It's going to be waved off. I mean, I think that was just kind of him stumbling over his own skates there. I don't think that was a trip. In the far corner now, out to Beckstadt. Beckstadt's shot is deflected and goes wide. I'm sorry, that's not Beckstadt. That is Matt Dahlside. Matt Dahlside's shot goes wide. We'll get stoppage of play. We're just under about 7.5 minutes to go. I mean, this is it. I mean, really, for Point, for Stout, I mean, they have got to get something.
And Point, we've talked about it. They are chewing this clock away right now, and Stout has 7.5 minutes here to try to salvage this and continue their season.
Breakaway
to nothing for Chirino. Chirino misses the pass. Nothing. They get nothing on a 2-on-0 chance, and they've got to be kicking themselves over that.
Just a bad. I think that pass is a little too far ahead.
That would have just about done it if they could have converted on that.
I cannot believe that they do not convert on that 2-on-0. Chirino just flat out missed that pass.
Man, I cannot believe Stout is. I mean, they had a 4-on-3 opportunity here, and they make a line change here, and I can't believe that. I really can't.
Pass over to Chirino. He'll collect it in the corner.
Oh,
takes a little bit of a tumble, blew a tire, and so Moore will capitalize and passes it up to Keller. Keller takes it in over the line. Collected in the far corner now by Point. They'll lose it right away to Keller. Over to Moore. They're trying to get something going. Collected by Rallis. Rallis' shot is blocked by Poulias.
Beautiful play there by Andrew Poulias.
It's behind the net now. Trying for a pass on front. Saved by Wagner. What a good opportunity for Stout. Wagner flashing the pads and making the save.
Well, a good night by Wagner. Wagner's been doing extremely well, and it just extremely tough. I was say, knock on wood there, but it's extremely tough situations there, and it's.
No, you're
it
absolutely
seems like
right.
there's a little bit of chippiness.
They've really kind of thrown everything at him here tonight, and he's been able to respond with flying colors here. And we got about 6:29 to go here.
Just want to remind everybody, you are listening to WWSP Stevens Point 90 FM's broadcast of tonight's WIAC tournament matchup. Shot through traffic, saved by Wagner. Another shot just goes high, and so the Pointers will finally regain control of it, but they're not able to clear the zone. That puck dangerously comes out into the slot in front of Wagner, but it's passed over to Hill. Hill with a shot saved by Masternak. Junker with a little bit of extra snowing the goaltender afterwards, and I can't imagine Stout's going to be too happy about that.
That was not a good play there by David Hill. He had a chance to pass, get a good pass there, and really put one in the back. If you put one in the back of the net right now, I think that's game over here. But not a good play there by David Hill. You got to like the hustle to get right down the ice, but there's just really nothing that was going to come from that shot there.
A little bit of a score update from Eau Claire to still 1-0 Blue Golds. About 7 minutes to go there in the third.
So Stevens Point is 6 minutes and 5 seconds away here if they're able to pull this one off to their second consecutive WIAC tournament championship game, and they're going to try to right their wrongs from last year's.
Boyce took a little bit of a tumble. He just blew a tire right over center ice, and a quick shot saved by Wagner. Crowd showing their approval, but Boyce just kind of blew a tire right there, and I mean, it's been happening on both sides. I don't know what's going on. None of them can seem to stay on their feet.
Yeah, it's just been a theme of this series, really. Because I saw it a lot yesterday too. Of just players just not being able to stay on their skates and just falling down. I wonder if it's just
absolutely
like
right. I think it's almost kind of a thing about anticipatory kind of move. You think about it in football, guys thinking a little too far ahead and they trip on their own feet. It could be that similar kind of situation here on the ice.
Able to clear the zone. Stout shoots it back in. Wagner out of his net to play that puck.
If I was Wagner, I don't know if I would take those. I don't know if I would leave the net at this point. Don't want to give him a freebie.
I agree with you.
Oh,
it just happened there
yeah.
again. He just blew a tire. Chance out in front of the set. He's not able to convert. I think that might have been a save by Ryan Wagner. I couldn't tell if he got a shot off or not.
I don't think it was a save. I think that just went wide. There was an open opportunity there. They just couldn't execute it. And really, that's been the story all night here for Stout. They have all these opportunities, but they cannot convert.
It happened in that corner. They're just blowing tires left and right. Nobody can stay on their feet.
Looks
Stout
like there's a
with
big
now.
crack over on the ice over there, from what I can see. Kind of an awkward area.
Hummerstone with it now, dumps it into the zone for Fader. Fader collects it in the near corner. He'll pass it along the net, not able to get all the way through. Fader recollects it in the near corner. He's shoved to the ice. Good hit by Halverson. Not able to clear though, and they do clear, collected by Harrison Stewart, passes it over to Hummerstone, and Point tries to get something going here.
But in that particular corner, there's just a really kind of a large dark spot that would indicate kind of a divot into it.
Behind the net now with Witherspoon. 4 minutes and 30 seconds left to go in the third.
I'm gonna say
Stout tries to get something going here. It's passed all the way over to Hart. Hart loses control of it, shoots it towards the net. Saved by Wagner.
That was just kind of a prayer kind of shot there. Peyton Hart just turned around, didn't even see where the net was, and he just tried to put one up front in hopes that maybe a rebound, but nothing doing. I got to say, and they're going to pull Masternak right now with 4:19 to go.
With 4:19.
They're going to go empty net here. And
I mean, this is it. They need something going. So we were both wrong. They're going to pull them at 4 minutes.
I do think it is the right call, though, because even if you score one, I think you probably still keep them out.
But 6-4, yawning at the other end of the ice. If Point scores now, that's pretty much going to do it for us here at KB Willett. They immediately get the chance, passes it over, shot towards the net, goal! Fletcher Anderson,
and it immediately comes to bite them back. And yes, he
continues his streak with the empty net goal. That's 4-0 Pointers, and that's probably going to be the icing on the cake here at KB Willett Arena.
That should do it. Really, all of that made there by a win on that opening face-off, and just a beautiful play there. Fletcher Anderson now 6 goals and 5 games played against the Blue Devils. What a way to get your 6th one here, guys. A tremendous game here by Stevens Point, and about 4 minutes and 11 seconds here from a chance at a WIAC regular season
was,
and conference tournament
Masternak
championship.
was out of the net for an entire 8 seconds. That's all it took for them to score on the open net.
Now this is Stevens Point. Let's just
Wilson Northroyd with a turnover, and he'll dump it back in. They're going to chew up as much climb as they can.
Yeah, this is
4 minutes left here in the third.
Chew up clock and get out of here without any injuries right
Wilson
now.
Northey keeps it in the zone. He'll dump it back in behind the net. Sean Bunting will give chase. Keller with it now. He'll try it up, but it's collected by Stewart. Back to Falls, and it just narrowly comes over the blue line, but it's dumped all the way back down and collected by Boyce right in front of Masternak. They'll again start trying to get a rush. It's passed over to Halverson. He's immediately taken off the puck by Stewart, and his pass back goes all the way down behind the net. 3.5 minutes left here in the third period.
Yeah, this way it's just routines of just chew, as you said, just chew out the clock. You got 3 minutes. You're up by 4. If you're stout, you need a prayer if you want to try and get back into this.
Stewart tries to grab it behind the net. He's not able to do so. Point's able to get out. It's going to be a 2-on-1 if they hustle. Isaac Moberg passes it back for Hill. Shoot! Score!
That's
5-0. And if you are here at KB Willett, that means one thing: free tacos. What a goal! When it rains, it pours. It's 5-0 point here at KB Willett. Just over 3 minutes to go, and I think that's really it for Stout now.
That should just about put a bow on it. Obviously, you know, anything can happen any given night. Crazy things can happen, but that should do it. 5-0 for Stevens Point with 3 minutes to go. They are well on their way to a championship game, which will be
Hill
here.
With an absolute laser. Went low blocker side, no doubt about it. Found the back of the net. What a beautiful goal from him.
Yeah, a reminder, with 3 minutes, obviously we don't want to make the call right away here, but if Stevens Point is able to finish this one off, next week's championship game will be right here in KB Willett Arena on a Saturday. That game will only be broadcasted right here on SPTV 90 FM. We have Women's Day that day. Should be a great day of music. All women.
I have a score update from Eau Claire. It is now 2-0 with just under 4 minutes to go.
So chance maybe at redemption for Stevens Point. If both of these scores hold, and I don't see no reason why they shouldn't, that would set up a date for Stevens Point next weekend for a chance at a revenge.
1 by point, taken by Fader. Passes it to Gonarowski. Gonarowski will just try to clear the zone. Stout got nothing in their tanks, and the way they're skating shows that. I think they're just about ready for this one to be over.
No, I think they're just about.
They're about checked out.
Fader clears it all the way back down. Collected by Jake Tice. He's got a lane all of his own. He is not able to convert as they stayed in front of him. Passes over to Fader. Fader just ran out of real estate. He has it behind the net. The pointer's not ready to be done yet as they don't have anything to convert. The pass is intercepted, and they'll start down the back of the ice. His clearing attempt hits the top of the roof, and we'll get another stoppage of play.
Yeah,
Point not letting off the gas pedal here.
I don't know if I would do that if I were Stevens Point. I think you should just really take this one out and just close things out here. This is a situation here where you're just get ready for the championship game next weekend.
2 minutes and 20 seconds left here to go in the third.
And what a change in pace of the game that we saw yesterday. A contested game through all 60 minutes of it. I know it was a 4-2 finish, but this has just been a blowout. I mean, it was close for the first period.
Conant with it now. He'll dump it in. And I agree with what you're saying, Will. You know, it is a blowout. And it really only happened here in the last, underneath 10 minutes in the third period. That's the only time. Pass out in front. Saved by Wagner. I don't know if anybody shot that or if he just kind of put a glove on it.
And right now, with 1:52 seconds left, if you're the Pointers, you want to give Wagner his shutout here. He's played a fantastic game here in the crease for the Pointers. Give this man his shutout.
Absolutely. You just give him his flowers, because as you said, he's just been doing incredible today.
But now we got 1:52 seconds left. Obviously, there's a game at hand, and we'll get into it a little bit here in the post game. But Stevens Point, the way that things are trending here, has a date with Eau Claire next weekend.
And he's not going to touch that one. So, they're going to wave off icing. I think the linesmen are just ready to be out of here.
I think either that or they're going to say that a pointer maybe deflected it off of his stick. I don't know.
Stout, again, trying to get something going. A little bit of a dump in. Just Ryan Wagner's just going to cover that up. And we've got about 1.5 minutes remaining here at KB Willett in the third period. Point on top. When it rains, it pours. 5-0. boys, I don't think we could have asked for a better showing from the Pointers
No,
here
you
tonight.
couldn't. It was a 3-0 game after two periods. No goals scored in that entire first one. 3 put in the net by Stevens Point in the second. They put in 2 here in the third. Just a great performance. We still got a minute 30 seconds left. Who knows? Maybe Stevens Point will get one more push and try to put a 6-burger on the board.
Face-off won by Point, just instantly going to be gobbled up behind the net. I think they're not concerned with trying to get up the ice as fast as they can. I think they're just trying to clear. They will clear, but it'll be immediately come back in, collected by Humberstone, and they will just try to get it going. David Hill cannot collect it, but that's going to be way offsides. Cody Moline's lucky he didn't get called for that there. That was a good
that was a
3 yards.
Yeah, that was not even close.
Stout with it now in the far corner, dumps it back for Sayre. Sayre goes over to German. Really battling for it now along the near corner. Comes out in front, a little bit of a no-angle shot, I think that might have been, or maybe it was a pass. But it's going to be collected by the Pointers. They're not able to clear the zone, though, and they finally do. That's going to come all the way down. Icing is waved off. It'll be collected by Perez.
40 seconds
40
left.
seconds left here in the third. 40 seconds away from another berth at a WIAC championship versus, as it seems right now, Eau Claire, a repeat of last year. In he comes all alone. Moline by himself. A little bit of backhand shot goes high. 25 seconds left here to go. Wilson Northey with it behind the net in the corner. There he's just content to get pinned and chew up as much clock as he can. 17 seconds to go.
Stevens Point, what a performance here today by the Pointers.
Over to Humberstone. Humberstone will just dump it in. 8 seconds to
What
go.
a performance.
5 seconds to go. I think that's going to do it for us here at KB Willett. And for the second year in a row, your Stevens Point Pointers are going to play for the Commissioner's Cup right here at KB Willett next week Saturday. As it seems right now, their opponent will be Eau Claire. I'm not sure about that yet. There's still game to be played.
What a game here. Stevens Point offense just waking up after that really slow first period. And what a game for Ryan Wagner. What a monster in the crease he was all night. He gave up absolutely nothing. He came up with the plays when Stevens Point needed him most. And this couldn't be a much better feeling going into the championship game next weekend after pitching a shutout to close things out here. What a game. What a game by the Pointers.
I mean, if you would have told me that this game would have been 5-0 after that first period, I would have called you crazy because that was just so tightly contested in that first period. But like I said, once Point was able to break down that brick wall that was, why am I?
Masternak.
Masternak.
I mean, he played absolutely out of his mind. He had absolutely no help from his defense, I don't think, at any point in this game. You know, he was a monster in net during the first period. He let in a couple in the second period, and then in the third period, everything just kind of unraveled for him, but I don't think that's his fault. You know, there were a lot of odd man opportunities. The David Hill goal was a 3-on-1. Where was his defense?
Yeah, absolutely. And you can see the emotion coming out here by the Stout players. Obviously, this is not how any team envisions their season ending.
Especially not on a 5-0 blowout.
And Stout, all things considered, they were picked to finish at the bottom of the WIAC in the preseason. They make it to the semifinal round here. They have a 17-win campaign this year. Absolutely nothing to be ashamed of for the Blue Devils. Obviously, they wish that things could have finished differently, but a great year. And this is a team, a lot of young pieces to them. Obviously, a lot of these players could have a COVID year, come back next year. Team to watch out for in the coming years here in Stout.
I mean, even last year, you know, they had the makings of a great team, and we knew this year they were going to be very, very dangerous for the Pointers. I mean, if the shots on goal total is anything to go by, you know, they skated with them the entire time. It was 32 shots to 36 shots. That's the first time I think it's been within 10 shots versus the Pointers. Usually at the end of the game, it's a very lopsided, like 15 to 45 or something like that. I mean, they skated with them at every single part of the point tonight. I mean, it's just they did not give Masternak any help in the net.
No, I think you're absolutely right. And let's look at it as it is right now. If everything plays out the way it continues with Eau Claire with a 2-0 lead over Superior, the Pointers are more than likely going to be hosting, like we said, a rematch of last year's game. That was the game we had here on 90 FM SPTV. I did that game. Ashton, I believe you were there with me. That was a 6-2 blowout by the hands of the Blue Golds. And Stevens Point, they played Eau Claire 2 times here in KB Willett, actually 1 time here in KB Willett Arena. It was a 6-2 victory for them here. They got a 3-2 victory up in Eau Claire, and then they dropped the last game, actually. I believe it was 3-1. So 2-1 was the season series, regular season series, I should say, for Stevens Point over Eau Claire. But there's always some bad blood between these two teams. Emotions. I mean, look at this. This game was a 5-0 game here, but the shots on goal was 36-33 in favor of Stevens Point. A 3-shot difference, and it was a 5-0 game.
Exactly. I mean, like I said, there wasn't really a point tonight that Stout didn't look that bad, except for in their defense. I mean, the offense had a lot of really good looks. It's just that the point defense shut them down anytime they actually managed to get something going. The Stout defense was there in the beginning. It was a really, really contested first period. And then second period just kind of started to let the crack show, and then by the third period, everything just kind of fell apart.
No, you're absolutely right. And really, it was just a great performance overall by Stevens Point. Rocky start, but they're able to recover. And that first intermission has always been something. You know, Coach Krieger has been one of those coaches that has always been able to rally his troops, especially after a rough first period where neither side executed well. He was able, obviously, to say something, and this Pointers team never looked back after that point. They came out with a vengeance, and they keep marching on.
Yeah, I was gonna say I couldn't have said it better myself. I said after that first, there's something about this Point team just so good after that first intermission, and you know if any loyal viewers watch basketball, our basketball broadcast here at SPTV or WWSP, you know that one of the things that I thought that they really struggled on was intermissions at halftime or in between quarters. They struggled with that, and just to see that just the Point hockey team being able just to thrive after that intermission is just amazing. And it's just that's what good teams do. That's what great teams do. And it's just looking really good for Point heading into this WIAC regular season.
Absolutely. If I'm Coach Krieger, I cannot be upset with how Point played tonight in any regard. The only thing I would try to kind of cut back on is the penalties. A couple of really dumb ones there in the first period. Sean Bunting took a really unnecessary penalty. There was one over there with a cross check. I mean, a lot of the penalties could be avoided. And I think that if they can kind of fix those kinks, they did score. By the way, they did score on the power play tonight.
That's absolutely You're absolutely right.
They did convert on a power play. They went, I think, 1 for 5, 1 for 4 almost. But that's still better than they have done historically.
Yep. Sometimes you just need to see it go through the net for it to start clicking.
You're absolutely right here, and we're 30 seconds remaining in the game. It's 3-0 here, so it's going to be Stevens Point versus Eau Claire next weekend. What a great matchup that's going to be, guys.
Very competitive.
A reminder, we're only going to have the game on SBTV next weekend, Women's Day here on 90 FM. It'll be a great day if you can listen to the music. But if you find yourself wanting to watch some Pointers hockey, why not tune into SBTV's YouTube channel? But, shameless promo there. But I'll hand it back to you. That should do it for just about what I have to say here tonight.
Yeah, that's probably going to do it for
myself for all of us here. Yeah.
So, as always, thank you so much for tuning in tonight, whether it's through the broadcast or the live stream. Thank you so much. It takes a good technical production. We had Will Haroldson on the camera tonight as well as on the call.
Doing double duty.
Pulling double shifts. We had Ashton Parker joining me as in the booth. I'm Liam Statz. Thank you for listening in to WWSP Stevens Point 90 FM's broadcast. Good night, everybody.